What's up, everybody, and welcome to your favorite Thursday night wrestling event, regularly scheduled Hostilities with your host, Chuck Winchester, with your host, Yvonne DeBoard, and with your host, the reigning, defending, regularly scheduled Hostilities champion of the world, Josh DeBoard. We're just a couple of weeks away from Money in the Bank. Can't wait to talk about that. But the big news this week, the huge news, the rated R superstar is back to get Roman Reigns. So we will talk all about that, all about Raw, all about Money in the Bank, all about me versus Yvonne at Money in the Bank. And then, of course, with the return of Edge tonight, very special night, the top 5 Edge moments of all time. So should be a great, excellent show. Give us your comments over here on the side. We'll bring you up. We'll talk to you. Be a great hell of a time. And tell your friends. Anyways, let's get right into it, guys. So what's going on?
I hope one day to master sharing before we actually are live.
I know, it's just difficult.
No. Every time I go live, I'm like...
My phone doesn't work fast enough. Like we need a longer intro, I think. Like, it needs to be like a 5-minute long intro.
It's like Archie, just double that.
It's like, just make it like 30 seconds longer and my phone can keep up. But that's life.
That's technology.
Pretty eventful week.
Yeah.
The Money in the Bank cards taken shape pretty much. You have the main title matches already made. Over half the field of the Money in the Bank matches are made too.
And how many people are in this bank? It's 8 now, right? It was 6 back in the day. When it first was invented, it was 6. Now it's 8.
I think they got the SmackDown side.
And then the Raw side. So 4 and 4.
They got 3 more on SmackDown because Big E qualified Friday.
Sure.
Raw's done now because Drew qualified.
Sure.
SmackDown women's. I think they just have to find enough women to put in the match.
I hope Carmelo wins again.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
I mean, they're
Me
like
too.
Carmella, Liv Morgan, Natalya, Tamina. Like that's the Rock and Bailey and Bianca.
That's
And
it.
Sasha is their roster.
Yeah, it's not a big roster when it comes to women's set, especially when you have Raw and SmackDown. I feel like
And
Raw's is bigger.
I feel
Yeah,
like
it is.
Bianca and Bailey's
Gonna be out of it.
apparently going to fight a fucking again, even though a clean victory at Hell in a Cell wasn't enough.
Yeah, dude.
They're
seriously.
it's fucking filler. So
That's the problem when you win clean. There's nowhere to go after that. Heels need
Yeah,
to win.
there is. Then you get pinned in a tag match on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Pinned
The next
Bianca.
week.
Yeah, she pinned her.
It's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
it's one of the questionable things.
It's a catch-22 in WWE. If you win clean, then there's no bullshit. But if you win dirty, you have to do the rematch. So that's why heels always win dirty. So the face has the rematch.
Well,
But when the
thing
face
is-
wins clean,
SmackDown's been so good. It's like one of the rare
Yes.
times they fucking make a weird booking decision. SmackDown was pretty rough, I think, this week, in my opinion, at least compared to what it's been like.
I didn't really notice anything different. I'm just kind of over the. I feel like it's the Roman Reigns stuff is the same. It's just now with Jimmy instead of Jay, so they're keeping it going
This
that
is a
way.
different. So, yeah.
Listen, Jay's MIA.
Sure, I know he's hiding away.
He's AWOL.
But then,
He's hanging out with
Jimmy,
Orton.
but Jimmy just joined
Hey, watch
Reigns
that.
though,
Watch
so
that.
they are literally they swapped people. But when they're identical twins, they didn't really swap people. It's the same thing.
Same thing.
At least visually, it's the same thing. So that part I thought was pretty stale, just because as an audience, we kind of want to see something can go forward.
Well, then we'll go to our the big news. How'd you
Edge.
feel about Edge coming back?
It's filler, but I dig it.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Edge. Like, I really like Edge, but we know he's not going to beat Roman Reigns.
know. Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, it's
Well,
cool, it's fun.
and did you notice the Seth Rollins shit?
Mm-hmm.
So like we all see where this is
Sure,
going.
Edge
now.
versus Rollins at SummerSlam for
So
sure.
like
Yep.
Not
so-
even a question.
So for people that don't watch Talking Smack, which I
don't.
I typically
I don't.
don't either, but
I work
I'm
that day. I can't.
I'm an avid Twitter person, so I see things.
We know.
So on Talking Smack, they're interviewing Seth. He's a guest on Talking Smack, and he's talking about, I'm gonna be in the title picture.
Sure.
I'm gonna win. It's gonna be great. And then they're like, hold on, we have to go backstage. Edge
Wow.
busts into Pierce's office.
Oh,
He's
boy.
like, I want
shit.
my one-on-one match. And Pierce
Oh,
is
boy.
like,
Damn it,
he's
Brandon.
like, I'm not asking. I'm telling you.
Oh boy.
And then Pierce is like, okay, you got it. One-on-one Money in the Bank, you and Roman.
Who is Eric Bischoff?
Seth's sitting there. Seth's like, I don't have an earpiece. What'd they say?
Uh-oh.
And the
Don't
guy's
say.
like, it's Edge versus Roman at Money. He's like, what?
See, without even watching that though,
Right.
we all know that
And he's
Yes.
like, he just sits there.
That just
pissed off.
solidifies
He
it.
sits there pissed off,
Yeah.
and he storms off the set
So when is he going
So-
to attack Edge?
at Money in the Bank.
Money in the
Yeah.
Bank, yep.
So you think he's going to cost Edge the match
He's
at Money in the
definitely
Bank?
going to.
Edge can catch a break. Fucking Daniel Bryan and Seth
I
Rollins.
know he can't ever get his one-on-one shot. It's always somebody else is thrown in the mix with him.
Damn.
But I do.
That's awful for
I mean,
him.
Most wrestling fans at least know what's going to happen. I like how they made it so fucking obvious.
Oh, yeah.
what's
Yeah,
about
they
to
did.
happen.
And that's what
It's almost obvious to a point. Like, watch them not do it.
Watch him
Yeah,
not do it.
seriously. And I was going to bring that same point up with John Cena and The Rock. Because even WWE on Fox on Twitter the other day posted, what's your dream match? Roman Reigns versus John Cena or Roman Reigns versus The Rock? Neither WWE on Fox. Neither is my dream match. Because I know they're going to happen. So it's not a dream.
Exactly.
It's a reality.
I
Um,
suppose so stupid.
But yeah, they're just like pushing both those guys in our
Yeah.
faces.
Yeah,
Like they
are.
don't know it's about to happen.
So it's just like, it's not exciting when it's not a dream match when we know SummerSlam is this and WrestleMania is this.
Just give
I
it
mean,
all away.
The Edge thing just kind of, it's what I said about SmackDown's kind of rough. It just lacks logic. I get Edge, live crowd, pop.
Sure.
You're going to get it. But logically, he lost.
He did though.
Whether it's triple threat or not, he got stacked.
Lost clean.
He got pinned.
It was
He
a
did.
clean
That's right.
loss.
He
He got
did.
pinned under Daniel Bryan.
He got a
like,
t-shirt made out of his
He
loss.
lost,
He did. He lost
But-
clean. He did.
which we talk about the lack thereof competition for Roman that's left on SmackDown.
That's why they're
Because
building
he's
that up
already
with Cena and Rock.
like Ray, Cesaro, Uso, Daniel Bryan. Like he's been through the whole. He's already shredded the whole
But-
roster,
Oh,
in
That's
why
Cesaro's
that-
defense, Cesaro hasn't lost clean to Roman Reigns.
but he lost.
Not clean, like Edge did. Just saying, Cesaro still hasn't
Roman-
lost clean.
Hey, Roman hasn't beat many people clean.
That's true.
Oh yeah, as heels shouldn't.
He's had a lot of.
But I'm
which we-
curious with this draft where they need refreshing of the roster.
Oh boy,
Sure.
they did.
And there's news. So you don't watch NXT,
No.
but they did a NXT North American Championship match. Way out of left field.
Nice.
Mhm.
Bronson Reed dropped the belt to Swerve Scott. So Bronson
Yeah.
Reed, Vince wants him on the main roster. He'll be coming
Sure.
up soon. Cross
Sure.
and Gargano.
Mhm.
Looks like it's about to happen very soon.
Oh yeah.
Next week.
Speaking of
And his girl,
Both.
what's her name again?
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Lady
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
That's
Scarlett
right. Oh, yeah.
and Shotzi Blackheart both had private workout like matches, whatever,
Sure.
with Vince and creative
I
or
gotcha.
whatever. So Shotzi
Showing off the
Blackheart, Ember Moon, Cross, Bronson Reed, LA Knight, who might
Wow.
drop the $1 million title
Wow.
to Grimes next week,
Yeah.
are all being looked at for the main roster. So
boy.
they have some holes to fill after they just released. They did
Right.
another set of
Mhm.
releases last week.
He did.
After it was Friday, I think.
I think most of those people didn't. Nobody really cared about.
No,
those
I mean
people.
Breezango.
That's true,
I mean
Breezango,
that
yeah.
that ran. I mean I didn't realize
They're the
they were there
biggest
for
ones.
14 years.
That's a long time.
That's
I
a
didn't
long time.
either.
A couple of the others that they just weren't getting used.
They
So
weren't.
Sure.
it's better for them to go get on the indies and
I
they
mean,
can be
yeah.
used there.
The thing with WWE is they have so much talent they can't use them. So let them go do
Mhm.
something else that they can do. I mean, like nobody. That's the thing with WWE. Like people talk shit, but they get fired, so they suck. No, they don't suck.
Well, just think like
It's just
MVP, which we'll get to Raw in a minute, but like he made a Brock Lesnar direct reference, and he
Sure.
said, "I'm going to bask in my glory." So he made a Keith Lee direct reference.
Oh,
So
yeah, he did.
everybody forgets when Keith Lee's healthy,
Mhm.
he's going to be right back
sure.
in that shit in Raw. He just has some shit going on.
And
They're
he's
trying
the
to
one who will
trademark.
do really well.
He got hurt. His name's they're trying to get the trademark shit
Sure.
down.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they'll have that fixed by. That's why I feel like Keith Lee will be a part of SummerSlam.
He's over. He'll
Hey,
be,
and
he'll be
Damian
good.
Priest.
Yep.
Oh my God! He's finally back.
Yeah,
He
but
is
like
back.
he's not one that I give a shit about, honestly.
Well, he's gonna have to grow, and they gave him the. It wasn't the Cena, Undertaker thing, but they did give him that edge spot after Mania.
Sure. He's
So-
they believe in him.
They like
They
they
do.
put him.
Yeah.
I know, Bunny, but like they trust him enough to put him in that big celebrity
Sure.
spot because they knew
They
people
did.
would watch it. So
Yeah.
he's a
and
guy.
he got Riddle over.
He's a guy that was really good. That was a really
I
good
like that
battle
segment.
royal too.
That
Yeah,
was.
that was good.
Mhm.
But sticking with SmackDown, so right now it's just Big E on that side, right? He qualified. He beat Apollo Friday.
He's qualified. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in it.
So
Mhm.
tomorrow, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn,
His
and a
long
last man
hiatus.
standing.
His long 1 week
So reports
hiatus.
are he asked for 2 weeks, and he got it. So
That's fair.
KO.
I think I had a tweet about 2 weeks. That's not that long of a time. I took 2 weeks off last year for COVID. It's not that big of a deal.
So Sami Zayn and KO, last man standing. Sami Zayn's flipping the fuck out Friday.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Sami Zayn. He's
We
so
all got
awesome.
in this one. So Zayn won at Hell in a Cell.
He did, surprisingly.
He did.
Owens won at Mania.
So who's going to win the 2 out of the 3
This
matches?
is the rubber match,
Yeah.
and this is for Money in the Bank. I feel like
I hope it's Zayn.
I hope it's Zayn, but I feel like it's gonna be KO.
It makes sense for KO, but I
Mhm.
want Sami Zayn to keep getting pushed to win because he's lost
Like,
so many.
If Sami Zayn loses, he's still gonna be able to push his fucking
Sure. But
WWE narrative.
Yeah.
but at some point we got to do a turning point, and he already won 1, so now we can do that turning point to where, oh shit, I did win twice.
Del Rio.
So
Rio.
what's up, Justin Del Rio? Still not related to Alberto, I hope. Hopefully that's stuff.
We hope not.
Alberto
Alberto
said
Carrillo.
a couple days ago
I saw.
he's trying to get back to WWE.
Dude,
Ew.
honestly, since you brought that up, if he does come back to WWE, whatever brand he's on, I'll stop watching. I'm not watching a fucking rapist, dude. But anyway, I won't stop watching the company, just that show. But anyway,
I think KO win. I wish Zayn would win.
I
And
got
then they could give
KO
KO
too.
some more time off. I do like the last man standing thing, and I feel like this will be the main event, which is a nice.
no, it is.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
why I like NXT so much, because you'll see different matches.
The thing with like
Main event.
the problem I have though with this is a last man standing match should be a pay-per-view worthy match towards ending a feud.
Mhm.
Not on SmackDown.
See,
Right.
That's one thing that people keep bitching about with AEW. Don't watch it, but like I listened to Busted Open, and
I don't watch
they're
it
talking
either.
about it. They're like, they're doing like a casket match now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but they're also doing it on WWE, which is what we're talking about.
No,
so
but no.
it's-
What I'm saying is like they're giving away a lot of matches for free. Like
Sure.
we said 4 Hell in a Cell matches in 3 days, or
Mhm.
Friday, Saturday, 4 days. My bad, 4 and 4 days. Now you're going to get Last Man Standing, which you're right. It's a pay-per-view match.
It is.
especially with those two who are best friends who have awesome
I get
chemistry.
why they're using that stipulation because they fought 50 fucking
Sure.
times, but
over the years.
and they're trying
absolutely.
to pop SmackDowns. It's all about.
I think
fucking
it's a Fox thing. I think Fox is making them do it because
Fox is
this
pitching a
hasn't
lot
really
of shit.
happened until now. And
Mhm.
Fox is like, you know what? We want ratings. You're going to do this.
Well, hey, Hell in a Cell popped it about 500,000
But
viewers.
Sure,
And then over
but
to-
it was the most PG ever Hell in a Cell match.
They
Like,
all.
I mean, they all are. You're
Well,
right.
I don't know. He killed Ray.
Well,
Yeah,
he's
it's
like
true.
his 5th time. He's like fucking Kenny at this point. He was thrown off a fucking roof last year, and he's fucking fine now. Had his eye taken out, it grew back. He got killed in a cell.
He got
killed at this pay-per-view last year.
He
He
did.
did.
Then he came back on Raw the next
Like
time.
the
It was in
next
a tag
day.
match.
I'm fine, guys. I'm bouncy. It's cool.
It was like him and Alistair versus Corbin and somebody. The next, I was like, wow, he didn't even sell it for a week.
Thrown off a building.
That was-
It's like when Stone Cold dropped Triple H from a fucking crane.
Yeah.
He went up with the pay-per-view the next night.
Triple H, yeah, defends his title. Yeah.
Oh, he's bruised up. Oh yeah,
but still put him in a match.
he will be bruised up after
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Somebody be logic.
That
Oh
sure
man,
is.
that's just fun. I saw JR had to talk shit on Twitter today too, talking about AEW for a minute because I guess he said WWE again last night or
He
something,
did.
and people are saying he should just retire.
Yeah, so
Bless his heart.
Eddie Kingston went on this fucking rant
He's a fuck by
after
the way.
that live show
He's
Saturday
He's
night.
annoying to me.
And dude, a lot of people, the crowd didn't react.
He's a
Uh-uh.
fuck.
Christian looked like
This guy,
no, Christian looked like bro, like
yeah, this
Christian
guy.
didn't burn bridges. Christian's
Sure.
like they looked uncomfortable. And Eddie Kingston, you can't talk shit when you tried out like 10 times.
man.
Don't get mad you couldn't be that guy.
Right.
As soon
There's
as
that. Yeah, see that picture with him in the shirt.
I didn't.
There's a picture with him at a WWE show where he works security, where he's trying.
yeah.
Oh my
Like, don't be
God.
mad you didn't make it.
Don't be a hater.
It's
He-
fine.
Like,
He was talking shit about Cesaro a couple weeks ago, and as soon as he started talking shit about Cesaro, I'm out because
Yeah,
nobody has anything
He
bad to say
keeps
about
taking
Cesaro.
shots.
he does.
Cesaro's
yeah.
the one guy who everybody fucking loves. He's gonna talk shit about Cesaro, saying he's a piece of shit. No, Cesaro's not. I don't need neither of you, but from what I've seen on the internet, so you know it must be true. He's the guy. Fucking what's his name again? I don't remember his name.
Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston, who's kind of wants to be Kofi Kingston now. Apparently, he's the guy who's like just talking massive shit and acting like he's edgy because he's hanging out with John Moxley.
Exactly.
It's like, dude,
Yeah.
He ain't
anybody
even
can
hang
be
on
edgy.
Moxley's written off right now.
No, fair
Yeah.
enough.
So now he's
Well, yeah, if you have a
solo.
kid,
He's
sure.
on his own. Yep.
But you can run your mouth all day long. If they're not valid points, people know that. And if you start
But
taking
it's one of
ridiculous
those
shots,
things, they're just taking like even the AEW fucking faithful on Twitter is like, all right, man, like
Like,
why?
knock it off. Yeah.
Like,
really?
You know, we've talked about this in the past, not on the show, but like in general, how WWE does not even acknowledge other companies.
They have times.
I know, but like overall, they don't.
Do you remember their probably 2010ish, their SmackDown theme song? There was a lyric in there that said, "Do you really want to cross the line?" That was a jab at TNA because their gimmick was, or their tagline was like crossing the line or some shit.
TNA.
Yeah, but anyway, they
Like for the most part, they don't
do it like
I prefer it
like
that
AEW.
way.
I do too.
Like
I do too.
Jericho takes shots. Cody always takes a
Yeah,
shot.
Cody takes
It's
shots.
funny,
Like,
like twice a year. It's funny.
I was
Every
done
week,
after
it's
the
not
fucking
funny.
throne.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was
like,
dumb.
You
That
were
was
done.
dumb.
And then he
Yeah.
goes, not a shot.
Yeah.
It was.
Like, that's the thing. If you're gonna do it, own it.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Who the fuck else are you
It
referring
was the
to?
same goddamn symbol.
Yeah, like, yeah, it had the fucking crown symbol.
That'd be like fucking pissed on the American flag saying, "Oh, that's a different reference." No,
Yeah,
it's
like,
not.
It's America.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Jesus.
All right.
Cody's out of control.
Let's get back to relevant shit.
He's not even a good guy or a bad guy. He doesn't know what he is.
You know what?
Anyway.
He's a
Big
speed
E.
guy.
So I like this field. I really do. So right now you got Morrison, Ricochet, Drew, Big E. Who the fuck else am I forgetting? There's one more.
I know there's one
I
more.
have no
can't-
idea.
Riddle. Yep.
How the fuck can I forget Riddle?
Question. I honestly didn't understand it because I missed some of the commentary. So I know why Riddle was in the first match to qualify Randy Orton. Why was Riddle in the last match with McIntyre and Styles when he's already in the Battle Royal?
Fighting for Orton's spot.
He already did that. That was the first match.
The first match
was the Battle Royal.
was to get in the triple threat.
Got it. Okay,
So he
All right.
he
I
had to
got
fight
you.
both.
I got you.
Poor Orton.
I was confused.
I
by
really
that.
dig this field. Like
Mhm.
you're gonna have outside of Drew. I'm down for any of them.
No,
getting
they're
the
all good.
briefcase
Me
put
too.
on 'em.
Yeah.
Now what happens if Brock Lesnar
Ricochet
comes
and
out?
fucking Ricochet and Morrison was great.
Yes.
That was
Also,
good. Yeah.
That fucking spot where he jumped off and took him over the barricade.
Yep.
That's some cool shit.
Miz's face.
We're not going to get that with live fans.
That's
You know
the
what I mean?
thing.
Like, that's
true.
That was a good fit. They gave him 15 minutes. They
They
gave
did.
the main event a half hour.
Would we
Well,
that
expect
triple threat
anything
was so
different though?
good.
Those two guys, Morrison and Ricochet, they're fucking phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. Those
They gave them
guys can be
time.
huge.
They
They
did.
gave them time. And
They
they're
did.
going to both be in Money in the Bank. So, I mean,
I'm nervous about. I'm
all right.
nervous about Morrison.
So, how y'all feel about Drew getting that spot? I thought he'd win. I thought he'd get
I'm
it.
not
It makes sense.
surprised.
I feel
he
like
won.
it's setting up my SummerSlam.
It is.
Who did you have for him at SummerSlam? I forget.
The
Fiend.
Fiend.
That makes. Oh yeah,
I mean,
he's gonna
Drew's
interfere.
going to fucking climb
Yeah.
up the
I'm
ladder.
rooting for the fans.
The light's going to go out. And then they'll come back on and Drew's gone.
That could be good.
Or lights come back out, come back on. Fiend's top of the ladder with his
That's
fucking
what I was
hand
about
in
to
his
say.
mouth.
He's on the
Then he
ladder.
throws him down. Then the lights go out.
And he goes.
Come back
gone.
on and they're both gone.
That's what I was thinking. He's
what
going to
if?
be on the ladder.
What if this happens?
What if the Fiend takes a briefcase?
What if the last spot
He
doesn't
could.
get filled? Brock Lesnar comes out.
I'm down.
F5's McIntyre takes that belt, fucking pisses on everybody else that's in that match again.
That could happen.
Dude, I kind of hope it does because it made me laugh a little
I
bit.
kind of hope the Fiend comes and
Still don't
Drew.
understand why Ali just didn't pull it down instead of staring. But anyway,
That's WWE logic. You have to be in shock for
He's
at least
like,
10 seconds.
I have it. No, he's like this.
All I have to do,
Let me wait for him to.
come get
And
me
like-
with his very long,
Yeah,
dramatic. While he's beatboxing.
Yeah, he's like Brock's bouncing, but
It's like,
whatever.
what's going on? Fucking Brock Lesnar.
Ali.
Oh, boy.
So far, I don't think Drew's winning. I think
Absolutely
him losing
not.
Money in the
No,
Bank is just going to keep
absolutely
building his
not.
story.
Dude, if he wins, that'd be worse than Brock Lesnar being in it and winning it.
I do know
Exactly.
that gender's being thrown around, him and Drew,
That'd be terrible.
because they did that backstage segment. Hulu probably didn't have it, but they did a backstage
Yeah.
segment a few
Of
weeks
course, they
ago
didn't have gender on it.
where
I wish I
him-
could see
it was
that. Not see
him,
gender.
Jeff, and Ali and a couple other guys. They're like, why didn't we get in these matches?
No.
And Gender's like, Drew's taking all the spots always. So there's
He's
they've
not wrong.
laid groundwork
Sure.
for a few things.
So he's going to turn heel eventually.
It looks like listen, Gender's going to be the one that turns him heel.
Yeah, I'm saying McIntyre's
Yeah.
going to turn heel eventually.
He needs
Yeah.
to.
Well, it makes sense. He's going
Oh,
to.
he has to.
I carried you guys
He's too over
through
now.
the fucking COVID era,
He did
The
it.
hardest
and now,
time, and now
you're booing me, which is funny because on Twitter I saw this. It was Seth and Murphy episode of Raw back when there was fans. It was after Rumble when Drew won. Not this past year, but the year
He
won
gotcha.
it.
He won
2020.
it right before COVID.
He won it in 2020. Seth came out and he was like, Drew, enjoy it. Because they're going to turn on you.
Mhm.
He's like,
He did say that.
He's
I
like,
remember
they
that,
loved
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And they started booing
He
me
did
because
say
I'm
that.
too
I remember.
damn good. And
Here we go.
full circle.
Yep.
But
They're
when you-
booing Drew.
It's a John
I
Cena
get it.
effect.
I get
Yeah.
it. But he carried the company through a fucking rough year.
Sure.
Like,
So
it was
John Cena.
COVID.
He did.
going
But
on
the
it.
story's going to be good, him building back up. Because he's
Sure.
not winning Money in the Bank.
No, he's not.
I wouldn't think so.
I want to see what the rest of the field's like. I know we're going to get KO and Zayn. I feel like a Cesaro qualifying match might happen. No Apollo, he lost. And Raw's full. So it's Riddle, Drew,
Morrison.
Ricochet,
Morrison.
and Morrison. Then Big E is the only one. And we'll get KO and Zayn. So there's going to be two more on SmackDown side. So it'll be interesting. Right now, my favorites, I think Big E's the overwhelming favorite.
I think Big E's probably most people's favorite at this point, and because of that, I feel like they might swerve us. I hope they don't, because I want.
You
Big E
see
to
the
win,
rumors
too.
that they're talking about, like Kofi somehow beats Lashley, then Big E cashes in on Kofi.
I would like that.
Yeah.
Or
I would like that.
There's also things like Lashley beats Kofi, beats the fucking hell out of him, and then Big E's like, "That's my dude." Comes down, cashes in on Lashley.
That could be
Then
good.
they-
That could be.
The
The
thing,
rumors are with the draft, Big E's going back to Raw,
Sure.
but they're going to keep him separate from New Day.
I would hope.
Like he's
so.
not going to be in the new.
Reunited.
Like they're friends, but like
sure,
they'll
That's
be
it.
doing their own thing.
sure.
Which
He
Xavier's
has
back-
his own music
Xavier's
now,
back
so.
from getting rid off TV this week. He'll be fighting Lashley on Monday.
Again. Yeah. Another
that
time.
1 week right off. So the
That's Monday Night Raw logic for
so-
you.
sure.
Exactly.
So here's my one thing. Everything you just said is awesome. I would love it if Kofi came out.
I think the Big E attacking Kofi be badass.
I would love it.
Yeah, I would
In
too.
front of live. That's your first shock factor in front of live.
Sure.
They're like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'd
hold
be
on,
awesome.
hold on,
Your friends?
Big E.
And they've been
Turn on
friends.
Kofi?
They've been friends for what?
They
like
signed a
7 or 8 years
dude,
now.
They signed joint 5-year contract extensions together.
Cool.
They're locked.
Wow.
Like they make the same amount of money.
5-year fucking feud.
No. What I'm saying, like that's what makes it so badass.
Sure.
Like, they're
Mhm.
locked in, like financially. They
Right.
signed together.
Sure.
Wow.
So him turning, then Xavier's like, "Fuck."
It's
What do I do?
kind of like Triple H and Shawn
You know what?
Michaels.
If they were to go, if they did that, I'd pop for it. No lie, that'd be amazing.
That would be.
You could still do Lashley and Brock. Just no belt.
That's the
Then
thing.
you
though.
do. Listen, you do Kofi, Big E, SummerSlam, Woods the ref.
That'd be great.
Yep.
That's what you do.
But here's the
And
problem
you
with
build
that.
towards
Here's the problem with
that
that.
inevitable triple threat on the pre-show at WrestleMania,
Pre-show.
which it shouldn't. But there's
It
been
will.
talk they want to do a triple threat world title match with all 3 New Day members
They
at
should.
some point.
They fucking should. And then here's why I hate this part-time shit at big pay-per-views, because all of that is awesome. You know, back in the day, they did stuff like this all of the time, and it was
Mhm.
awesome and made sense storyline-wise.
These are good.
But now,
Hey,
because of
I
these
did
part-
apply to be a superstar, so
Yeah.
I might be getting there. They made me send my headshot, so I sent them my America suit.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
my god.
They said send a picture I had personality.
Like as
I
a
sent-
wrestler?
Yeah, I sent the picture of me holding the RSH title.
Nice. Hell yeah.
They never.
I'll get you
They
over.
haven't responded.
Oh, they're just amazing. Like, holy shit, that's the RSH champion. Holy shit! They're probably like telling Vince right now, like,
no,
dude,
Vince is
we
like he's too over.
gotta get our shit
He's
together.
too over
No, they're just
already.
planning a contract. They're putting a package together.
They're
That's
putting
all that
something
is.
together.
Yeah. So like, that's the problem though. I think these days, because these big events, SummerSlam, Mania, and a couple others, they focus on part-time stuff to get the ratings for that one big night.
Mhm.
So we can't allow storylines that you just said. All that is great and should happen, but it
Mhm.
won't because of it's got to be Lashley and Lesnar for the belt, because it's a
Mhm.
bigger feeling if it's for the belt.
We all still feel that's going to happen.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
And the MVP keeps dropping. That was a good ass segment with him and Kofi.
Yeah, I
too.
loved it.
It was.
They got
Exactly.
real, and he sold the fucking Trouble in Paradise. Like I've never
he
seen.
knocked him out.
Like he was out.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. But so that what you just said will probably happen just later.
What up, Joe?
It'll probably happen like after SummerSlam come September, where shit kind of slows down through the holiday
See,
season.
I don't know if it's going to. I don't know when it's going to slow down. I think
Holiday
they're about to
season.
hit the. Well, you got the draft after
Well,
SummerSlam.
maybe that's we have fans coming
No, like,
back. Yeah.
I think they're about to be foot on the fucking gas. NXT had their biggest crowd Tuesday,
No, with fans coming back, it's going to make it a little
but
bit
dude, it's
different.
exciting because
Historically, it's the holiday season. It's like,
they couldn't have made it more obvious that Bronson Reed's on his way to the main roster.
Yeah, they couldn't have made
So,
it more
but
obvious.
he just dropped the NXT North American title,
I don't know.
which
Yeah.
Swerve
Yeah.
easily deserved.
Yep.
Way
Yeah.
underutilized. That's one of NXT's like, what the fuck you been doing with this guy?
Sure.
Then you got this week's the Great American Bash.
Yep.
So it's a stacked card. You got Cole and O'Reilly.
That makes
again,
sense. Great American
Part
Bash,
two.
4th of
And
July
then,
weekend.
yep.
Is it on Sunday?
Tuesday.
Oh, that makes sense.
It's not a pay-per-view,
sure,
but
their show.
Ciampa
Yeah.
came out. He said he's ready to go to the main roster, which in the
Oh,
past
wow.
he has vividly said he would retire
I
before
remember, yeah,
going.
he said
now
he
he's
wasn't-
ready to go. Reports are Ciampa's a guy they're looking at.
I hope so.
So,
I'm
I mean-
afraid, though. I am afraid of NXT talent who I like, Ciampa,
Oh, listen.
going to the main roster. Because
Let-
so far,
let-
their
let-
track record is not that great.
Well,
Riddle,
listen,
he's doing good.
Let's segue. So
Priest,
let's go
not
into
that
listen. Let's go into the what have you done for me lately business, because that's what the world is, right? What have you done for me lately? Last 3 call-ups. Okay. Lee,
No,
Priest.
doing nothing.
Lee, Priest, Riddle. Lee beat Randy Orton. Hey, he got hurt. Can't
Sure.
blame Vince for that. Okay, you really can't.
Sure.
But he had a very Lesnar at the Rumble, got the rub there.
Mhm.
And
he got a
remember
rub.
when NXT was part of?
Still lost.
Remember
but
when?
got a rub.
Remember when NXT was part of Survivor Series?
Yeah,
And
that,
him and Roman.
that was circumstance.
I
though.
know, but they could have picked anybody to have.
No,
that
they
moment.
had
gave it to Keith.
they had to have a big guy.
And then-
People like Lee.
Keith's-
They know that.
Keith's gonna be a beast.
Triple H told Vince,
But then
saying,
Priest,
"This is the guy."
Mhm.
Priest got
that
the big
was-
spot with Bad Bunny. You know, he got the.
I
rub.
wouldn't call that a big spot.
Exactly.
Maybe
I
pull the
would.
text.
I
You
wouldn't
can
call
call,
it.
yeah, I wouldn't call that a
like
spot.
they gave him that celebrity spot. They gave him the edge rub. Like, dude, I like you. You know. So
Sure.
they
They think
and
he
let's
might be a
get to the guy
He's got
they
build.
let's get to the guy that they're cash money on.
Riddle is
And
talent.
a guy you didn't like.
Riddle's talent. He's the. I was going to say this tonight.
You
He's
said-
talent.
That episode, you said I don't like him,
Okay, hated him.
but
Hated him.
you said I have a fucking feeling I'm going to end up liking him.
And I do.
He's the best thing on Monday nights.
You're
He
absolutely
is.
correct.
He is.
When he channeled Orton and goes like this, and the pyro hit,
He freaked
he
out.
jumped. Dude,
love
you remember the backstage this week when he was talking to Priest, and Priest is like, oh, I just want to
You
go
did
have burgers
this.
with you. No, remember he's like, I just want to have burgers with my
Burger-
dude Riddle.
Oh yeah.
They posted on Twitter. They went to fucking Burger
Burger
King
King.
and actually had
They
them
did.
together.
Hell
They
yeah.
did.
And Riddle's like,
That's how you do it.
Randy,
dude.
where are you? Like, he just
That's how you do that.
listen. He's perfect.
He is.
Like everything he's doing is perfect.
No, I agree. He's talent, dude.
He
That-
is, absolutely.
Riddle,
So-
he's the one guy who I did not like that I like. now.
Listen,
Like,
even
he
the
won me
birds with
over.
it. Do you see in the fucking with the Battle Royal where he runs out, kicks his shoes off, everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like he just don't give a fuck.
He
Yeah,
don't.
like,
Uh-uh.
He's so
Like
dude,
he's the
he's
one.
superstar.
I don't.
He
I'm
is.
not a stoner, but after watching him, I kind of want to be.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
absolute superstar.
He is.
No,
He's going to be main event level.
He's a
His
good actor.
character is So he's
He
not. It's funny. He's not acting.
Well, that's
He's
well,
good.
whatever.
Like,
But
that's
he's
what he is. He got kicked out of UFC because he wouldn't stop smoking weed. Like
Sure.
that's who he is.
Sure.
He is.
And
So
he wants
he's
to
good
win
at
the
it.
briefcase to hide his stash. Like I'm fucking done with
No,
him.
Burger King stash.
Whoppers, man.
Yeah, okay. But like,
Oh my gosh.
how
Whoppers,
good was he
man.
on Raw?
He was good.
And I like in the
I still loved it when he forgot his line in this fucking road away. That was the best.
dude. Yeah, that's when Vince is like, we got money here.
That was the best. He looked right in the camera.
He's so good.
I was nervous. I'm like, they're gonna fuck him after
So
that.
I know you were like, oh shit, I'm worried for him. But then they pair him with Orton,
That's
and
like,
we
yeah.
see where this is going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'd say Money in the Bank is like the 18th, something like that, right?
Sure. July.
If I was picking right now, which is bullshit because half the field's still TBD,
Yeah.
I'd pick Riddle.
It's hard.
I say Big E's the favorite, but
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
imagine the story.
Mhm.
This is-
Riddle wins the briefcase after failing to get Orton a spot. So then Orton eventually is going to get mad. But what's going to make me upset is I feel like they'll break that team up
They're
way
going
too
to.
See,
soon.
I didn't realize that. I thought he got Orton in it, not realizing
Orton
what the main
couldn't be
event
there
was.
for personal reasons.
Right.
So Riddle's like, no, don't take his spot. I'll do it.
Right. So I thought he won it because I watched it. Then I just didn't understand why he was in the last match.
They
So
were earning that
I
third
got
spot. That Orton
So
had.
I thought Orton was in it too. So he's still not in it.
And Riddle looked like a fucking star
Yeah.
in the triple threat and lost. He kicked the fucking steps, which I
Fucking Drew
imagine.
McIntyre.
Then he got taken to the back. Then he came back.
That's why you
out.
wear your shoes, bro.
Like,
Exactly. We're actual
I-
shoes, like an adult.
listen,
Like an
An
adult. Yes.
I really
Yes.
It's still gross.
At least fucking yoga socks.
Dude.
Jesus.
So we're in unanimous here. Riddle's gonna be a fucking star.
Yeah,
I
he
think
is.
so.
They have
He is.
so much.
As long as they don't.
That's what excites me about the fans coming back. Like you have they have some good stuff going
They do.
on.
Sure.
Like
Oh, absolutely.
Roman stuff's. I wouldn't call it stale, but it needs to pick it up.
It is a pickup.
we need
I
fans
think
back.
they're just
We need
killing
fans
time,
back,
right?
Yeah. And that's the thing, though. When
But
you have
they
a
have-
3-hour show, you can have an hour of good stuff. That's still 2 hours
Well,
of bad
their
stuff.
issue is they first off it needs to be a 2-hour show,
Exactly.
It
but
does.
if it's going to be 3.
Sure.
I mean,
it is. So let's adjust.
They need to hit this draft.
They do.
No, listen, Raw.
I wouldn't even say it's a draft issue, brother. It's a storyline issue.
I get that, but like right now they're just out of people.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're out. Look, like SmackDown's women's division we talked about.
Yep.
The
They
4
have Edge.
women.
Edge is back.
Edge ain't in the women's division.
I'm talking about Reigns still.
No, I was kidding. But no, think about it. Like they just need to replenish
They
the
do.
roster. Like you call up a Cross, a Bronson Reed,
Oh,
LA
yeah.
Knight,
New ups. Yeah.
Shotzi Blackheart, Io Shirai, like all these NXT,
Mhm.
get them in. Sasha's coming back.
Yep, she's
So, I mean, obviously she's gonna fight Bianca.
Well, she's
is-
actually in bad. She's in trouble now for saying like political shit while she was like hanging out with the Mandalorian or something.
No, she said she ain't getting vaccinated. That's what everybody's giving her shit for.
Same thing, political. By the way, I'm also not vaccinated.
Me either.
Neither.
I'm
Hope
right
you guys
with her
aren't-
on
I
that.
don't
hope
want to
you-
be a government experiment.
Don't judge her
But
for that, people.
There's a lot of stuff to look forward to.
I'm supporting Sasha. That's all I was doing.
I do.
Me too. Me too.
So, what's your favorite pay per view?
My favorite? I like the Rumble.
All right, so I was gonna say, I know me and Chuck's favorite is always the Rumble. My second is Money in the Bank.
It's funny because
Mine.
they're both kind of the same concept. You
It's
know,
the element of surprise.
Right.
Like I like that. Like if you win,
there's a consequence to what
Like-
happens.
I mean, even for y'all, even though you're still not gonna beat me, but
Oh no, it's
here
gonna
we
be
go.
normally when you win this, your career changes unless you're
Obviously.
Baron Corbin
or John Cena
or Otis.
Yeah.
Oh, Otis.
Grow
He
that
lost
beard.
his girl.
Grow
and
that
his
beard back. Yeah, it's like
Otis used it as a carrying case.
But
for
yeah,
his
so like
food.
they
It
can
was-
really
Oof.
use
Mailbox.
this.
His little lunchbox.
They
that's what it
can
was.
really nail this. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be live fans. This is their chance to give.
Sure.
I just think Riddle winning that briefcase in front of fucking fans is
Be
gonna
awesome.
just
I would love it, dude.
Yep.
or him or Big E.
I would
Big E
love
would pop too.
I would
Yeah.
love it.
But anybody in the match right now, I'm okay with winning except Drew.
Other than Drew.
Me
And
too.
I think we know he's not winning.
I think they put Drew in there just to
Just
mix
to
it
piss-
up.
yeah.
Yeah, like
To
just
take
be like,
people off. Yeah.
No disrespect to the people in it. Drew now has some star power in it. You
Oh,
know what I
he's
mean?
sure.
Like,
Yeah, he
I
did.
beat Drew
absolutely.
McIntyre.
I love
Yeah.
Morrison.
he's the guy who held the company for a whole year
But
during
now-
COVID.
He did, absolutely.
You had a KO. More like you need a star. Like you
Mhm.
could have a ladder. You can't have Money in the Bank with just like no disrespect mid carders.
Sure.
Which I think that all of them are capable of doing more. Especially, I wouldn't mind if Morrison won.
Everybody
Me
on that
too.
I
roster.
wouldn't
Yeah.
mind if Ricochet won.
Morrison should have been a star in 2010.
There's rumors that Morrison's going to SmackDown.
He had
which
a bad
I
attitude.
fucking hope.
Me too. Get away
Dude.
from Miz.
Morrison's my
SmackDown's
guy.
booking.
I love Morrison.
SmackDown is that show where people like Morrison go and get over.
He
Sure.
needs to go.
I remember when Morrison.
Remember when
that pisses me off,
SmackDown-
though. Fuck.
Remember back in the day
No.
they did that?
We shouldn't be talking about Morrison getting over in 2021. Morrison debuted in like 2004. And
I mean, I think
it's like
All right, maybe getting over, getting the push.
sure.
I think he's over.
And it
I'm
drives
pretty
me
sure he's
crazy. Yeah, man, he is over.
over. I got a drip stick at home.
Yeah, that's just annoying. I can't.
I saw your comment.
Yeah, I can't stand
You
that.
said, "Oh, you mean that drip shit?"
Yeah,
ain't-
that drip shit ain't getting over.
His
Like-
little hair clip says drip drip on it. Oh my
Like
God.
he's way too talented for that bullshit.
But he
For the goofy stuff.
Like that's how good he is. He gets stupid shit like that over.
He does.
But that's the problem. Is like no, he can get that over because he's awesome. But let's let him do more. He is probably the most talented person when it comes to
He does parkour
Mike
and shit.
and in ring. He can do both.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, he's stuck in these weird comedy bullshit angles as the sidekick again. And like that happened with The Miz back in 2010 or so. He was in that role. And when he came
Yep.
back like a year or two ago, I was like, oh, maybe we'll like finally do what we're supposed to do. Nope.
No,
We're
they
gonna backtrack.
Hey, listen, I'm just glad he's in Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
He's
that's
getting
nice.
more rub
He's
than he's
there. He's there.
Gotten a long
Yeah,
time.
he's there.
I think. So we'll see what happens. Just want your guys' thoughts on a few things. I watch Raw with her, so like she'll start telling me how she feels about shit. I'm like, shh, tell me Thursday, because like
There you
I
go.
want.
I dig
All
it.
right, so Dewdrop and Eva Marie, we have talked about it.
Oh, boy.
So last week, Dewdrop bounces on her.
Yeah.
This week, she pretty much squashed Asuka.
She did.
So,
Yep.
so
That's what Yvonne has.
what the
to
hell's
say.
going on, Yvonne? Because
I wish I
don't
knew.
know.
I don't either. I wish I knew. It's a bunch of
I'll tell you. I'm not calling her Dewdrop. Piper looks badass.
Piper, yeah,
Like,
Dewdrop.
I can't stand Dewdrop.
yeah, that's stupid.
yeah.
In Scream 3, the bodyguard calls Dewey Dewdrop, and then he gets killed.
Oh, that's what I remember.
So that's what I think of. Whenever I hear Dewdrop, that's what I think of.
I have no
Well, I
idea.
mean, it was.
That's where
I
my
don't
brain
know. I
goes.
don't know where this is going. I don't know.
Then
It's
we'll
just-
stick with the women for you. Charlotte, Tamina,
You had to say that name first,
Natalia
didn't
beat Mandy, Dana, and Rhea.
Yeah.
It's Rhia versus Charlotte. They already announced that, right? From
Yep.
Money in the Bank
How could you forget
for the
Charlotte?
fucking 8th time.
Yeah,
But
You know, it's probably going to be Natalia and Tamina and Mandy and Dana.
they keep you like they
I know,
beat them
they
clean
used to- I
so
know.
many times. They just don't have any tag teams.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm sorry.
That's what I mean. Their roster's depleted.
Women tag. There should only be one set of women tag team
Mhm.
belts, and they should be on both shows. That's just there's not enough women storylines going on.
No.
Oh, you can call me a sexist, I guess, if you want to,
Sexist.
but
You're sexist too.
but that's not. But it's not true. It's just a fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by design, I didn't even put Nikki Cross on here. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't wanna-
No, it's Nikki. Like, what's her new name? Nikki.
Listen, they had to drop Cross because they didn't want when
I know.
Carrion comes up.
Sure.
They didn't want
It's
the
so
Same last
confusing. I
name.
understand.
Hey, C and K. It is confusing. But
I know it's like a Nikki Hero or something.
in spite of you, I just want her to win.
I know. Well, she did win Monday, and I want her to keep winning too. Now think about this though, because I like Nikki Cross a lot.
Well, listen, this is what we want, right? Like
Sure.
this is her idea.
She's getting well.
She's working. You know,
That
she's
doesn't
been,
mean
you
it's
know
good.
she's been working with
Sure. Who?
Hurricane.
Oh, that's cool. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Because
Makes a lot of
remember,
sense.
he and like
he's the
he-
Green Lantern tattoo.
remember
yeah.
the Rosie thing
Yeah.
where he did like
I remember
they got that
Rosie.
over.
Yeah, they had 3 superheroes.
So,
yeah, I know. I remember.
I'm gonna wait and see with it.
The thing though,
Alexa Bliss kicking dude in the dick was
She
amazing.
did. Yeah.
always fun.
Oh my god! And like she didn't do it, she did it.
Straight kick.
No, back kick, like boom.
Yeah.
And then she put it on Twitter and said and put the devil fucking
Hell
things
yeah.
on.
Didn't she
Dig
kick
it.
Nia?
So here's
Both of them.
So
She kicked
here's
both of them.
here's what I think the only way to get this gimmick over and to keep it going long. How do you say that word? Longevity. That's
Yeah.
like that's like my catchphrase,
Close
right?
enough. You
Yeah.
you did it. You said it better than I could.
Fair
Better
enough.
probably than me.
If they turn her heel, like right now, with Alexa Bliss, that's how you keep that going. And you do that gimmick ironically. You keep calling yourself a hero as a bad guy. That would be longevity. But to be a baby face, I'm a superhero like Hurricane Helms was in 2002. That's not going to be a long term.
This is where they're going to use the crowd to gauge.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Like if they pop, they're going to push it.
But how long
If
will
they
pop?
sour,
They'll sour
then,
quick.
then they'll kill it.
But I don't want them to kill it. I want them to do it the vice versa. Make it a heel gimmick, but she still
Well,
acts like a
that's-
good guy.
That's what they'll do if they
That's
go
what I
sour.
want.
Mhm.
If they go sour, they'll put her with Alexa again.
But sure, but make her still act the same way she's acting. Happy,
Mhm.
I'm a superhero, but do heel tactics to win.
Okay.
That would be
Yeah,
that
great.
works.
I would like that too.
I think that would be great. And right now, it's kind of where we're heading. I think not heading, but like it makes sense teaming with Alexa Bliss because they're still partners right now.
Yeah,
technically.
they are.
And dude,
yeah.
she's had a good few months. Like
Sure.
She has.
she didn't beat Rhea and
And she's
Charlotte,
a heel?
but like she
Sure,
lasted the time, right? They had
Longer
those,
than
like,
they did.
You know what I mean? Like they had those
Mhm.
matches. beat the
she's
clock.
won her matches.
She hasn't
Sure.
lost a match in
Nope.
a month. She just beat Shanna clean.
No, they're putting her
She
over.
did.
They're putting her
Big
over.
time.
They're pushing her.
I love the Ricochet Morrison. I love they double counted out.
They
No,
did.
neither of those guys
And it
deserve
makes-
to take a pin.
Dude, and it was such a good match, and I made sure I watched that match because I
Mhm.
love both those guys. I felt both those guys have
And
been
they-
kind of shit
I
on.
didn't know because I don't watch Lucha
Kicking
Underground,
ass.
but apparently they had a huge.
I saw that on
they were the
Twitter,
two
yeah.
guys in Lucha, and they
I
had
saw
a
that.
huge feud there.
Yeah, I didn't know that
Ricochet
either.
wore a mask and shit back
Yeah,
then.
he did.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
They were
I didn't know they
great.
were.
KO tweeted it out.
He did.
goes, man, I fit.
That's all the
It's
same
like-
thing.
He's like, I feel like I've watched this before, and they also showed him and Zayn in Lucha.
Yeah, I saw that because
So
like
Zayn
Zayn
had
had
a
a mask
mask on,
and,
yeah.
and a cape and shit. Yeah, dude. Dude, I really like Sami Zayn. I didn't know. I honestly
He's
didn't know that too. Like it's really neat when you see these guys from back then doing their shit now. It's like hell
And
yeah.
now he's like unrecognizable because he shaved his beard in 2 years. He's
Yeah, he looks like a fucking raggedy mother, but he's
He
he's
does.
so good. Like I could listen to him talk all day. Like if I would love to have a beer with Sami Zayn Just let him talk for an hour. Like I think
He would.
I would dig it.
Maybe he put us in his documentary.
There you go. Like just rant to me for an hour. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
So
Like
before we get to another Canadian with a terrible beard,
Uh-oh.
let's hit NXT real quick.
now notice.
So we talked about Bronson Reed dropping the belt, so main roster is inevitable. Ciampa, Blackheart, Cross will be the big one, right? When Cross comes up, that should fucking get over pretty well. I would assume.
Oh, he'll do it. Cheers.
Scarlett, his
Yep.
girl's going to wrestle. I'm sure that'll
That'd
get
be
over.
awesome.
She hasn't wrestled in NXT yet, but another really
she
good
can.
show. This is their go home show,
Mhm.
technically for the Bash, which
Sure.
is Tuesday.
Sure.
Stack show. Diamond Mind. We found out. I think we talked about it a little bit. So Roderick Strong of Undisputed Era, which you loved,
He's the leader.
he got kind of
He's not the leader. Adam Cole was the leader.
no. He's the leader. of
Diamond
Mind.
Mine. He's
Oh,
the
I
So
leader.
like he got.
Yeah, he's the leader
but
of that.
you're right. Like that's his point. I think.
Sure.
Mm.
Like
I got
he
you.
was always the other guy.
Sure.
Now he's like, I got
sidekick.
my own.
Now
clique.
I'm the
Yeah. So
Mhm.
it's pretty cool. We'll see how that goes.
It's kind of like when HBK left DX and Triple H reformed DX with new guys, because Triple H was the sidekick of their first DX with
Mhm.
HBK,
Mhm.
and then HBK lost his smile because we frown sometimes, and then he left, and then here comes Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, X-Pac, and now I'm the leader, and now I get Motorhead. But anyway,
And your boy, Ciampa,
Mm.
him and Thatcher's fighting MSK next week for the tag team championships. It's a great sit down segment.
Mhm.
Ciampa got smacked in the face and then like hard as fuck. He didn't budge.
hell
He
yeah.
did.
He just got to punch him in the mouth.
Because he's a fucking hobbit.
Right.
Like he is so ripped. like
Mhm.
and that's what I'm scared about
Another
with Ciampa, because he's a tough son of a bitch. but
He has the look though.
He does.
He does.
Hey, listen, when they put, I think I watched it with you. Remember when Gargano and him went to the main roster briefly,
Mhm.
like EC3? Remember they promoted all of them?
Yep.
They got. I mean,
No, they're
Adam
over.
Cole and Daniel Bryan
No,
was
they're over.
amazing. Like
Yeah.
That was a good
they
one.
use like that gives me a little hope. They know what they got.
But that's the thing though, because Brian's
Like,
not that big either.
like
But you put
they're-
let's put Ciampa up against the big guys in the main event right now. McIntyre,
he just
Lashley.
fought Walter.
But Walter's not
amazing.
that big either. He's
Walter's
short.
huge.
He's a short guy though. I'm talking tall.
He
Walter's
can
short.
work with them.
I mean, he can work with
He's
them.
worked with Keith.
But Vince
like,
likes
he's worked with
Keith's a good point. But Vince likes the big guys.
Bronson Reed.
And Ciampa's not that big. I'm talking about Ciampa. That's why I'm worried about Ciampa. He looks like a hobbit. And I mean that in the most
Yeah,
endearing
but
way.
he's a little ripped hobbit.
He's a
right?
oh yeah, I was a rip. No,
he's
the
ripped.
battle hobbits are ripped too. But like when you when you look, if
I'm trying to be optimistic.
I hope I want it.
Because
I do too.
you get this injection of like Ciampa, Cross, Blackheart, Scarlett, Reed into the main roster. Fucking needs.
I agree, man. I think Ciampa's fantastic.
But like
He's the Triple H of the fucking NXT, in my opinion, when it comes to just fucking intensity. Like
He
Jesus.
is.
it's gonna be interesting to see Samoa Joe, that was our big thing last week or was it the week before?
Oh, one of the two. I drink a
He's
lot.
doing it. They're teasing him and Adam Cole so hard.
They are.
Yeah, I'm not good with that.
So Kyle O'Reilly and him are doing
I'm
a
not good with
face off. Samoa Joe walks out. He's like, I'm just gonna meet
He interrupts Adam Cole.
And
too.
then he interrupts Cole mid
Yes.
promo.
I
And
did read
Cole's
that.
like-
After O'Reilly talks, he interrupts Cole like, my bad, continue.
Cole's
and then-
like, as
and
I
then
was saying,
they're in
Cole
the
was
ring,
rudely interrupted.
And then Cole was like, yeah, even your wife knows. I was the star of Undisputed Era. So O'Reilly starts kicking his ass. Joe goes,
This does nothing.
watch
He's
it.
like,
and,
Joe.
and then he puts him in his the fucking leg lock,
Leg
whatever.
lock.
Yeah.
Then Joe's like,
That's enough.
oh. Then he tells security, oh,
Go
get
get
it.
him. Get him.
And like O'Reilly's already done. So like they're
Dude.
teasing Adam Cole and Samoa Joe.
Cole's
hard.
like, get
Yeah,
him off of
absolutely.
me.
Which
And
would be great.
Joe is awesome. That's really cool about that too. Is like,
Mhm.
back in the NXT days, that's not correct. Back in the TNA days, I liked Joe then.
Yeah.
And then he had a dumb gimmick that I didn't like. So I'm like, well,
Mhm.
fuck Joe. That's dumb. He used to carry like a fucking knife down to the ring. That's silly.
Joe's
Uh,
gonna kill you.
Yeah, like he like a
Kill
butcher
you.
knife thing. Like,
Oh,
like,
God.
Dude, they started chanting that, and so like when the MSK dude smacked Ciampa in the face, they started saying Ciampa's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
But now watching Joe's like the enforcer, dude, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
Joe is awesome.
Did you see any? I didn't watch the interview, but I read pieces of his interview with Satin. So like Triple H called him 2 hours after he
No,
got
I
released
did read that. Yeah,
and was like,
I read the
"Give me,
interview.
I'm in a meeting. Give me a minute."
Yep.
Don't sign anywhere.
Don't sign. And then we'll get you a package.
So Joe's like a scout. He can wrestle when he's cleared.
Sure.
He's enforcer on TV. He and he's potentially go back to the main roster at some point if he chooses to.
If I was Joe, dude, honestly, I would stay where he's at. I would stay.
He's doing so well there.
Stay with Triple H.
Him and Adam Cole.
Triple H believes in him.
Yeah, big time. Hanging out with Regal. It's a good gimmick.
You can go back to Raw and be a regular wrestler.
With so many people down there.
Sure.
And help get them over.
And he's getting paid well. Like,
yeah.
I
would do that.
Look at the guy who just followed our account on Twitter, by the way. Parker. Can't say his last name very well. The guy who looks like Brock Lesnar.
Thanks, Parker.
He followed us on Twitter.
That's awesome.
I appreciate the fact that he like Brock
Lesnar. It's
impressive. And followed us.
It's impressive.
Absolutely. That's awesome.
Kids wrestled no match in the WWE. He was just on an episode of The Simpsons.
Oh,
they used his character.
That's kind of funny you bring that up. I never actually really watched The Simpsons until last week. We started watching it, and it's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
It's like, man, it's a reason it's been on TV for 50 years.
Yeah. It's like, I seen my parents didn't, like, when I was a kid, my parents didn't watch it, so I didn't watch it. I was a South Park kid. I was like, I don't need to watch The Simpsons. And then, like, I started, season 10 is where I started. Not even the beginning. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious. So I appreciate the fact that he's on The Simpsons. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he follows us on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Thank you, Simpsons. Brock Lesnar.
So, the Bash. So we'll give you guys the final lineup. So it's next Tuesday. Women's tag team titles. Io Shirai and Zoe Stark did win.
They did.
So they'll fight Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, which neither of them are. Oh, speaking of Indy Hartwell, Vince apparently loves Loomis. Which is why he hasn't been on NXT for a while. Apparently he's
bring him up.
Going straight.
Yep.
Loomis will be. I think Loomis has Loomis a big dude. Like Loomis
Loomis has a look,
and his character doesn't talk, so his promo skills can't be bad because his character don't talk.
Sure.
So I think Loomis be a stud Loomis on the main roster.
He's a good. He's a scary guy. He would be a really good other roster Fiend. So you keep Fiend on where he is and bring Loomis from the other show. But then we can do like a crossover.
I think he'd be amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Then LA Knight versus Cameron Grimes for the $1 Million Championship, which I told her. So we're watching NXT, and then one of these insurance commercials comes on, and then
which company?
I forget. Ric Flair's on TV.
Woo!
Who comes out?
Yep.
LA Knight. And I'm like, all right, dude's not on the main roster, but they're featuring him in like their commercial.
Where's he going?
Exactly.
So I feel like Cameron Grimes wins the $1 Million. I feel like Cameron Grimes wins the $1 Million title.
Sure.
Then LA Knight, he's ready.
He's ready to go.
He's ready.
I like LA Knight.
And The Rock put him over like a motherfucker on Twitter the other day. So The Rock said he's the closest thing to me that I've seen in years.
Well, who's The Rock? He's going to lose to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. It doesn't matter what The Rock says. It doesn't matter what The Rock says.
John Cena just performed better than The Rock did in any Fast and Furious movie.
Here we go.
Oh, you saw that, right?
I did.
You like it?
I went Saturday.
Hell yeah!
It's a very good story.
Listen.
I don't
Listen.
I don't know the backstory. So like,
Fast and the Furious doesn't have a good story since the fourth movie. That's not what we like. Fast and Furious.
I had to use WWE booking as my logic
because
it's like because it's the 9th movie and they're like, oh, you have a brother. Like that wasn't brought up in the first date, and I overlooked it. You know what I mean?
And not only was it not brought up in the first date, all fucking Dominic Toretto talks about his fucking family. All 8 fucking movies.
Did they mention his dad in any of the 8?
Like 7 times. Yeah, in the first movie.
Well, that's the story.
Here's what happened. You might not know this.
I watched the only one I watched was when after dude died. I watched that one.
So Fast 8, which was like the worst one.
And his name's Paul Walker, not dude.
No, it's this dude. So in the first movie, we learn that Vin Diesel and his sister, which I'm not sure if she's in the 9th one or not, but she marries Paul Walker in the movies. Anyway,
I thought that the girl that he was with in the movie, I thought they were brother sister at first.
Oh no!
And then they start tonguing.
Yeah, they're banging.
And I was like,
listen.
I look at my dude. I was like, incest, and he's like, dude, they've been together. It's like.
Have you not seen the first Fast and the Furious?
Anyway, I have good taste.
So, no, you don't. So if you're watching John Cena before.
I haven't seen any of them.
Don't even. First off, have you seen it?
You're not supposed to that. The new one, I'm going to watch it on Monday.
Then you don't.
I'm going Monday.
Don't hate on John Cena until you watch his.
I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see John Cena. I like John Cena.
He turned heel.
Yeah, he's a bad guy in this movie. I know this already. He's Dom's evil twin brother that we don't know anything about.
I don't want to say too.
Anyway,
This is
I'm
a
sure they'll be
conversation
friends by the end.
we'll
That's fine.
have-
They'll be friends by
This
the
is a
end.
conversation we have next week.
Another thing about the Fast and the Furious, Josh, is all the bad guys end up being good guys in the next movie.
Listen, all I know
So,
is
that's a very routine thing.
no spoiler. Well, a little bit, but nothing. I'll give you my 3 takeaways. Very good story. It got me invested.
I'm sure
it
it's
does
not.
matter.
But I'll still
Listen,
like it.
I hate them. I was invested.
You've never seen them.
I watched half the first one. I fucking threw my TV
Oh,
outside.
that's a waste of time.
I know it was a waste of an hour and a half.
No, you're missing out.
Oh,
This movie never
bitches
made
and cars. My
Yeah.
Pornhub bookmarks are better than
America.
that. No, stop it.
Dude, it's so good.
So-
It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a
my
mile.
God.
Winning's winning. So many good quotes.
Good story.
So many good quotes.
They sent the right people to space. And I know people are hating on it, but it made sense why they had to do it.
I'm sure it does.
They sent Tyrese and Ludacris to space.
Luda.
And Tyrese is like, bro, what the fuck is going on up here?
Oh my
It was
goodness.
hilarious.
I'm sure it is.
You need to see it.
So listen,
The third
I'm
thing,
going to tell you. Oh, okay,
John
so-
Cena.
Heel.
Long lost brother. He joined the military. They had a
Hey,
fallout probably when they were
best-
16.
Hey, that's the
Sure.
best role he's ever done.
So he's better than that firefighter movie?
Lockers?
He's better than the Marine?
Marines
he said
good.
he knew
I like
the
the
Marines
Marines.
sucked. He said
I
that-
liked
he's
it.
like, I just
Yeah.
did it to help WWE get more popular.
I
like
thought it
06,
was.
yeah.
I thought it was
But
good. I thought
I,
it was
dude,
good.
I
thought he slayed
I
it.
have to tell you.
And
No,
I can't.
I have to tell you.
He's not done.
I'm sure he's
The
not.
way it ended,
No.
he's not
The
done.
Rock was in 3 of them. Has no spinoff. He's not done. So, like I said, like since the villains
Number
anyway,
one in the box office.
Sure, it's
John
Fast and the
Cena.
Furious.
John
Yeah.
Cena.
It's the Fast and the Furious. They're all number 1 in the box office.
No, it's John Cena and the Fast and
I'm
Furious.
still trying to tell you what happened with Dom's dad.
I saw it.
No.
They showed it in the movie.
Not
He
the
died
first
at the
movie?
fucking racetrack.
They actually show it.
That's what this one's
Fuck.
about.
Okay, stop talking. No more. No more. No more.
That's the whole story.
In the first movie,
That's
Dom.
why I said the
in
story's good.
In the first movie, Dom tells Paul
They
Walker about it.
They reference that.
All right.
It's a
he's
good
like,
story.
Because what happened was it's Toretto. Brian always has been Toretto. So the cop is telling Paul Walker what happened, and he said Vin Diesel killed this dude with a wrench. So Paul Walker goes, he's a killer. So then later on, Vin Diesel tells him why he killed this guy with a wrench. Now he works at a high school as a janitor and takes the
I'll
bus
tell
home
you,
every day.
yeah,
But anyway,
I'll tell you, this movie was 2.5 hours long.
sure.
I liked it so much. I'm probably gonna go see it again.
I'm seeing it
I
on
want
Monday.
to see it. I want to see it.
And the plots around his father. That's what the whole thing's about.
That makes sense
Mm.
because
They go read
Mia,
it. They
Mia's
go,
the sister.
well, that's where the brother comes in.
sure.
That's where the
I
story,
see.
like when his dad dies, it ties it all
John
together.
Cena's like, I'm gonna go join the military and
Dude,
become a black ops
no.
guy. Yeah,
You got to see it. The,
I
the
am.
story, like the story makes it's a really good story.
I'm
You
sure
laugh.
it's not. I'm
It
sure
is.
it's not.
All
I'm
right.
sure it's
But like
not.
I said, I love them all, and they haven't had a good story since the 4th one. By the way, the 4th one's my favorite after the first one, and that's the last
You know
good
what the
story
fourth
movie.
one doesn't have?
John Cena.
Boom.
It doesn't. But you know who does have? Paul Walker, who's a real actor. Anyway.
Anyway, before we go to our top
No,
5,
I'm sure I will like 9 more than 8.
as
8
he
was
hates
bad.
on the franchise he loves.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I'm just gonna put this back.
I do
up.
a wrestling pay-per-view.
I'm just gonna.
That's
I'm
what
just
I do.
gonna.
A guy Josh and I love MVP.
And then let shamelessly promote.
Oh,
We're a couple
yeah.
weeks away from Yvonne and Ben
Yep.
figuring out who loses to me next.
Oh,
And
Oh,
then
please.
there's me beating one of those two when I was much thinner. So
I hate that picture of my hands in my goddamn pocket, though.
It's
I
the
can't
only
get
one I
over
have
it.
with the
I can't
organization
get over
shirt.
it.
like I'm passed out outside your house. In front, like, why the fuck was she taking my picture for? Like
You said I wanted one
this
with
is
your
out
belt
on your curb.
It
Sure.
is.
Like,
I didn't have one with the RSH title.
but anyway,
He's just out
so,
there. He's just out there hooking.
So
He's
this
doing
week
something.
was her top
No, it was you.
Me.
It was you.
because next week is you.
It was you.
This is my
Yep.
top
I ain't
5.
scared.
So with Edge coming back, luckily I was having trouble finding something.
So did I.
That works.
Which I was going to do. WWE did the top tag teams of all time countdown. Did you see that?
I did not.
You know who was number 1?
Edge and Christian.
New Day.
Nice.
Wow, new name, yeah.
Dudley Boys was
New
5. Edge and
Day.
Christian was 4. The Heart Foundation was 3.
And
And
dude,
then,
that's incorrect.
New Day was 1.
Edge and Christian is better than
The
the
Usos
Dudleys.
were 6th. I was happy to see them that high.
Nah, that's fair.
Wow.
And they're not done either. So
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't
Edge and
think
Christian should have been higher.
I
Yeah, they should have
think-
been.
number 1.
Hardy's isn't on that list. Oh, Matt left.
They were
Yeah.
no. They were 2.
Oh, they're number 2. That's fair. So that's cool because I was my favorite.
Oh, and they
of those
gave
3
Jeff
was
Hardy
the-
his old theme song back. So
Oh,
they
cool.
said Jeff Push is coming. So
Oh.
if Bray
Wait,
don't
he
attack,
had a new theme song.
remember No More Words or the fuck his older one.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
I retweeted it. You'll find it somewhere. But
I
like
remember.
they brought back his old song that
Hulu
everybody
doesn't show Jeff, so just entrances.
Right.
They just
So-
show Jeff sometimes.
Yeah.
This week, Edge came back, so I was like, let's do Edge's best moments.
Hell yeah!
Chuck gets next week, and then
It's gonna be
we'll go from there.
penis pics.
And Phil, you're not going to title shot. Part
I seen
time.
that.
Yeah,
like
man.
No part timers here.
Sorry.
when you do a weekly show, 104 episodes now, the title has to be here every week.
Every
We
week.
don't have time for people who are too busy delivering packages
This
or
is
skateboarding.
This is
So-
a very fluid show. Stuff's going on. You
Phil's
gotta be
all
here.
about part timers. He jacks off to Goldberg, but
Yeah,
like
I mean, yeah.
we don't do that here.
You can like the gold all you want, but if you want to get the gold, you have to do more than jack off to the gold. You got to show up for the gold.
But yeah,
Mhm.
That could be a
so
quote.
quit it.
That could be a T-shirt.
Please quit it. Stay off the RSH Twitter. But anyway,
Yeah, stay off that.
I still think they're fucking up Mommy in the Bank.
Mommy in the bank.
Becky,
Becky.
Oh, hopefully she
what I
shows
pitched
up.
last week, like that's
Yeah.
money shirt.
I agree.
She comes back.
No,
wins.
you're right about that.
Like,
no, Mommy in the bank's
why
a
would
great
that?
shirt.
That would set. I mean, top seller. It's
Maybe-
Becky.
No,
Becky. All Becky shit
Did you
sells.
did you think of that or did you see it
No,
somewhere
I
else?
thought of
That's
that.
a good one. You should fucking
Because we were watching Raw
Put
and
that
she
on-
was like, "Oh, look at Becky's kid," and I was like, "Oh, it's cute." Hey, congrats, Becky and Seth. They got married last
They
week.
got married, yeah.
But
They did.
fuck Seth.
I was like, she then listen. She was
That's just jealousy, dog.
This is, this is how my mind works. She said, "Look at her kid; it's so cute."
Dude, Mommy,
And then
that's a
she
good
goes,
quote. That's good.
Becky's going to be such a good mom. And then she said, "Hey, do you think she'll be in Money in the Bank?" And I said, "If she won, they should
Mhm.
call it Mommy in the Bank."
Mommy in the bank, yeah.
And then I said, "That'd be a great T-shirt."
That would be a great T-shirt. Quote, tweet that. Well, first of all, this is already recorded, so it's good. But now,
We're live.
July 1st at 7:08 p.m. Now, fucking shoot that to Twitter, WWE, and be like,
Tag
Mommy in
Becky,
the bank.
tag Becky in that.
and then
See
make
what
them
she
pay
says.
you for it. That's how you do that.
Let me try out to be a wrestler, please.
Or just the quote guy, the T-shirt guy.
I know.
I honestly think with the women's Money in the Bank, there's going to be. Why am I thinking there's going to be like a spot left?
So is
Like
Raw full?
something. The
So it's
women's
Nikki,
I have no idea.
Alexa,
and with SmackDown's roster being
Carmella?
so
Asuka, Naomi. So Raw side is full.
Yep.
You know how crazy it'd be if Becky came back to SmackDown? of
That's
all
what I was
shows?
thinking.
I would love that. I would put her
That
on the
definitely. They're already the
And-
A show. That would just solidify it,
It makes sense.
and
to
it
put her on
keeps
the
her
same-
away from fucking Charlotte.
It makes sense to put her on the same show.
Oh,
as
you're
Seth.
just upset because Charlotte came.
Nobody wants to see Becky and Charlotte again.
It's gonna.
I watch Becky and Bianca, Becky and Sasha,
Yeah.
Becky and fucking Bailey,
As long
Becky and Scarlett,
As
Becky
long-
and whoever the fuck.
as they
Yeah.
put Becky on SmackDown, they don't do a Becky and Rollins crossover.
I think they already know they
That
was
tried that
trash.
before.
It was
Yeah.
That
trash.
was awful.
So as long as they keep them away from each other, put them on the same show, that way they can be together off screen, but do their own thing on screen. That'd be fucking perfect, in my opinion.
Well,
Or
speaking of-
Josh would love to see Charlotte lose and enter herself
Right.
in the Money in the
I was
Bank.
going to say, speaking of perfect, then you say Charlotte. So,
She is
segueing back to
perfect.
perfection. So, we're my top 5. So,
Is it Charlotte?
I started researching Edge.
Nice.
Dude's got a fucking storied history.
He's got-
like he came up in the Brood.
Absolutely, yeah, the
Um,
Brood, yeah.
He was on.
He was never supposed to be that guy.
Nope. He was
No.
always a sidekick character.
They
Wow.
thought Christian would be the guy.
Vince didn't. Vince thought he was a rat face guy. That's what he called him. Rat
He's
face.
Wow.
not wrong. But
Son's not- no,
I
he's
always felt like Edge is just the other guy.
not. Mhm.
Then he's a fucking Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Highly decorated. He's won,
Absolutely.
I think they said 48 different championships.
Most of them
Jeez.
tag team, but yeah, sure.
So I'm just going to so I know most people's number one would be when he wins the Rumble this past year.
Mhm.
Oh, that's not even my list.
That's my- that's
not
my-
even
that's
list.
my number one.
I didn't use that because
No,
I felt like I wanted to be a little different because I felt like that's the cliche.
Mine are
easy
all
answer.
old. Mine are all old.
But-
Mine's all
Mine are all
My
ones
five,
that I remember.
my 5 was his initial return when he first came back.
Sure.
He didn't win, but we heard the rumors, but we were on this same show. We
Sure.
were like,
Oh, yeah,
I need
yeah.
to see it.
Sure.
To
He
believe.
came back, great pop. He had that fucking very good, very good.
That's good shit.
Obviously, That's a top moment.
Sure.
Came back from a career-ending injury.
I mean, that's what makes it a top moment. The fact that we thought he was done. Like,
Yeah.
I'll never forget when he retired, man. And that probably should be my top 5 moment because it was so memorable. Made me fucking
It's
tear
on
up.
somebody's here.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. But like,
I thought
so
it was kind of fucked. It's like, you're retiring? That's not a top moment.
yeah,
That's sad. But she's heartless, like most women.
No, it's
are.
not heartless.
heartless.
It's rememberable. What makes me cry.
That's
Like
me. Yeah.
because I really thought Del Rio, even though he's a rapist, I thought Del Rio was going to win.
Not you, Justin.
Yeah, not
The other
Justin. He's Justin's
Not you, Justin.
one. We know of.
Yeah, you can go nerds of wrestling. That shit's cool. Yeah, don't rape people though. So like I thought, like so I thought Del Rio would win
Don't rape people, though.
because I thought Del Rio was the up and
He's not
comer.
watching this shit anymore. For that.
No, that's a good message. Be good, don't rape.
He'll
Anyway.
tune in with just Justin, not
Chad,
the
yeah,
Del
let's go.
Rio part.
So I thought Del Rio was going to win at WrestleMania because he was the up-and-comer guy. And it made sense for Edge to lose, but Edge won. I'm like, well, that's weird. And the next night, he makes me cry on television because he has a broken neck and he has to retire as the world heavyweight champion. And that's just something that doesn't happen very often. Very rarely do I cry watching WWE. The 2 times I can think of is when one of them is when Edge retired. The second one was when Reigns had cancer and had to leave for a minute.
Yeah, I did
like,
too.
Those are both. Like,
I
when
both did.
Yeah,
when it's
the Reigns-
real, it's sad.
The Reigns thing kind of hit. It's like, we
Yeah.
booed this guy,
Mhm.
but like, he's a
Really-
human
He's a
being.
human being.
He's a
Like,
human being,
At the end of
yeah.
the day, we
Sure.
all want the same
Sure.
thing. Just
And we all watch wrestling as a fantasy TV show, not
Mhm.
understanding these are real people.
yes.
Yep.
And so when you
Your
see
boy
it-
MVP said that the other day. He said wrestling fans are literally, he's like, the reason wrestling fans are so mad is because they fantasy book everything. And if
Mhm.
they don't book it the way you want, you hate it.
Sure.
And he's not wrong.
Well, he
No, he's
also
not.
steals Godfather's entrance with Kane and all. So whatever, be a thief. But whatever.
Hey, he's your number one fan.
I'm not walking around with
He
a cane.
retweeted that on his page too.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, that got like 250 likes.
Oh, yeah.
I think MVP
Hey,
has a
I was
Well,
wondering why the RSH followers jumped
They
up.
jumped
about
up
20.
on us like, this
It's like,
goddamn
Oh,
idiot.
MVP said he's an idiot. Follow.
There we go.
I saw some of the comments, and some of those guys agree with me.
They
Like, they were like,
did.
you can't argue it. I have to believe that they kept Bobby Lashley off TV this past week. Do you see Godfather with the cane doing this with all the hoes beside him on both sides, just like Godfather did back in 2000 and goddamn
no.
2000. So,
MVP's been calling another idiot.
goddamn 2000.
so I was gonna say 01, but it was actually earlier than that. So I have to believe I influenced Raw this week. I'm just saying.
You did.
Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so when it gets real, that's when it gets like sad and memorable, and that's and the
Mhm.
guys when they get real, what's his name? Who's the guy that got fired last year during COVID and cried on the
Frank
internet?
Maverick.
Maverick, yeah.
Real sadness got him a job back.
Mhm.
So like, and that's the shit that's memorable. So like, that's why I think Edge, his return in 2020. If you watched him retire live in 2011,
Yep.
it made it that much better because you thought he was done.
Done.
Everybody
I
thought he
don't-
was
I
done.
don't even consider myself a big fan of Edge,
Nah,
but like
mine's me.
that was a big moment.
Sure,
Was-
Like I'm not an Edge head or the fuck his fans are called anymore, but like
Me either.
it's huge.
I'm happy to see him back.
Me
Sure,
too.
it was
Absolutely.
huge.
Another time,
Edge head.
It made-
I forgot about that gimmick. Edge head.
Yeah. This made me feel some sort of way watching it on TV. Is when him and Lita had sex on Raw.
You nasty piece.
Of course,
My
you
number
put that.
4
That
moment.
is disgusting.
That's
Live sex on the air. Listen, how ballsy is that?
I think that's when he created the rated R superstar gimmick.
Oh, here, rated R.
That's disgusting.
All over Lita.
Oh yeah, we've seen
Live
it.
TV.
They both had pants on. They both had their bathing suit parts covered up.
Oh god.
It was bullshit porn. I've seen better. That was really crazy. Did you hear the story? I'm sure you have. How like Edge, he heard it on that night, on Sunday night, the pay-per-view. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna have a live sex show tomorrow." He thought it was a joke. He's like, "Oh, okay." And he got to the stadium the next day, or the arena the next day, and they're like, "Oh, so the sex show?" He's like, "Wait, I thought that was a joke." Like, what the fuck?
And I do remember John Cena get interfering in this too.
Yeah, he prevented the
He-
porn.
Thank God for John
Cena.
Cena.
Thanks,
Thank
right to
God.
censor. Jesus.
The only thing I'm thanking Cena for. Thank you.
I know.
All right, back to PG.
I hope.
Well, maybe Edge and McFoley.
Oh, I had this in my top 5 too.
Hardcore
I
match.
didn't.
He speared him through the fucking flaming table.
Well, yeah.
And
We're just talking
McFoley
about
said
it.
on Broken Skulls, he goes, "I was on fire."
Yeah.
On fire.
He goes, "Wrestling is we all know. He goes, but it's hard.
You can't fake fire.
Yeah, like, he's like, I was on
Poor
fucking
guy.
fire. Like,
This
great
I don't,
moment.
This I don't remember.
it's an
seeing,
iconic
but-
fucking thing.
Yep.
They show it all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
spares
the
them.
first WrestleMania I watched live, and I will never forget
Wow.
that match. It was the best one of the night.
now, I think this was
Poor Mick Foley.
the best TLC match ever. And it's WrestleMania. Don't know Roman numerals. I copied and pasted. But the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys, where they won.
I think that might have been the very
That was
first
the,
TLC
was that
match.
this was the
So I
one where he
think so.
speared him, right?
I think it was.
Where he's hanging and Edge.
Mhm.
Well, they had two, and I get them mixed up because they had one at WrestleMania, they had one at SummerSlam. I watched the SummerSlam one.
I'm glad they
live.
only did a couple.
And I know they invented it. I don't remember
Can
which
you
one.
imagine if these teams were around now? They'd be like Monday Night Raw, TLC. It's like Dudley's versus Hardy's. Like, stop it.
I mean, this kind of stuff back then is why their careers didn't last that long.
Yeah,
unless you're
those
Jeff.
bumps. Like Bully Ray
Right,
says
man.
all the time on Bust Open,
Yeah.
he's like, dude, I forget stuff. He's like, I took
Yeah.
out a chair shot.
Yeah,
He's like,
for real.
well, and he took some bumps.
Dude,
like
like in
he
Jericho.
fell off the ladder, through all four tables, or I think it was four tables.
Probably.
Wow.
Two stacked.
Think about the Jericho.
Yeah.
Like that you literally get hit in the
Not
head
just
with two
taking
chairs.
one.
Mhm.
They took multiple.
And like,
chairs.
and then you can aim it to a certain way. You don't take the full shot,
Mhm.
but that's not going to work every time. you know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
You know, we're all humans. So yeah, I mean, I'm really glad at the end of the day that they stopped doing headshots. I miss seeing it, but at the same time, if I saw it now, like I would go back and watch it on YouTube. I'm like, holy shit, that's terrible. Like, so I'm glad they don't do it
Yeah.
anymore. But yeah, I mean, like those kind of matches back then.
Mhm.
And then people complain and bitch and moan, including myself, that the Hell in a Cells, the TLCs, they're all watered down now. Well, yeah, they all have longer careers for a reason. Roman Reigns has been around since 2012 on main event
Yeah,
television
you're never gonna
for a
see-
reason. So it's a
Look
good
at somebody like The
thing,
Miz. He's been hurt once.
right?
Once.
So
Right.
it's not a bad thing.
Mhm.
It's
No, career longevity is very important.
it's a good thing.
Very important.
But as a fan, I understand the bitching as a fan, but as a fan, you have to be intelligent about it.
It
And
goes
so
back to their people.
Sure.
Like,
Mhm.
exactly.
it's easy for us to sit here and bitch, but it's like go
do it.
hit the road.
Go do it.
Dude, I take a sick day once every 4 months because my tummy hurts. So these
That's like I'm driving here and I'm like, I feel sick. And it's like, man, there's people going through way worse shit.
Then we, are.
Right.
We need
But
to put ourselves in their
Number
shoes.
one was kind of hard.
Yeah.
It was between this one and obviously what I have is number one. But Edge's career was solidified when he won the belt.
Mhm.
Sure.
So that's my number one moment. He cashed in Money in the Bank
I got that one
and the
too.
Elimination Chamber
Yep.
in 2006 at New Year's Revolution, and he beat the guy. They
Yep.
put him over.
Who did John Cena just defeat in that match? I forget.
Was it it was just a regular chamber match.
Kurt
wasn't
Angle.
it?
Was it Kurt Angle? Oh, chamber match would be 6 people. Never mind. That's
I type in
that's
here.
a silly question.
So,
There's 5 others in that
I
match.
would have said that too. It's all right.
give me a second. So
Who just beat? Well, there's 5 of them.
John Cena defeated Carlito, Chris Masters, Shawn Michaels,
Oh.
Kane, and Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle?
Solid.
Kurt
I
Angle?
did say Kurt. I
You
had
did.
one
You
right.
got one right.
Hold on, real quick. Let me read you this match card for this event.
Oh my god.
Chavo Guerrero beat Snitsky.
Oh,
Flair.
It wasn't my
this is
fault.
before or after he murdered Lita's baby.
It wasn't my fault.
Ric Flair beat Edge via disqualification in an Intercontinental Championship match.
Oh shit!
Ric
Nice.
Flair and Edge in the mid card.
Woo!
Trish Stratus beat Mickey James for the
That sounds
WWE
right.
Look at
Women's
that.
Championship. Jerry Lawler beat Gregory Helms.
That's Josh's big.
Triple
Why was Jerry Lawler fighting Hurricane Helms?
Triple H beat the Big Show in a singles match.
That sounds right.
Shelton Benjamin with Mama Benjamin beat Viscera.
I remember Mama Benjamin.
the wheelchair. He pushed her in the wheelchair.
Ashley Massaro, rest in peace, defeated Candice Michelle, Maria, Tori Wilson, and Victoria.
I remember
Who died?
Ashley
Ashley,
Massaro,
yeah,
she
she
won
Oh,
that first ever.
Yeah. She was in Smallville.
Yeah.
Her and Kane were.
Like you're like, eh.
No, I remember that. That's what was said. Her and Kane were in the same episode of Smallville.
Then I forgot
So-
about her.
That's sad.
The chamber match was a half hour. Cena outlasted. He pinned. So, out of Kurt Angle, Kane, Chris Masters, Shawn Michaels, and Carlito, who do you think was the last person standing with Cena?
Who?
Who do you guys think it would be?
I wasn't listening to
Out
that.
of Shawn, Kurt, Kane, Chris Masters, and Carlito.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Carlito.
Carly.
It was fucking Like, he beat Carlito.
Fair enough.
Dude,
Guess who eliminated the most people? Fucking Carlito. 3.
they're
Guess
pu-
who eliminated
they're
Shawn
pushing him,
Michaels?
man.
Carlito.
They're putting him over big for a while.
And then Edge came out and cashed in a bloody John Cena and won the title.
Yeah, Vince came out.
And Vince came out with him.
Because the show was about to
he gave it to Vince.
Because that was back, this is the first, that's just the first
For me,
one.
that was when Edge
arrived.
arrived.
So
that's why it's my number one.
Yeah, for everybody.
He's here.
Yeah.
And then he took the fuck off.
Absolutely. Yep. And the fact that Vince was even part of that makes it so
when
much
Vince is
better.
involved in stuff now, which is why I like him not being a character anymore. When I like it, absolutely, we missed the attitude era days. And
he says Vince says he doesn't think anybody wants to see him. He says that.
I mean, listen, if you're Vince and you get on Twitter and you see all the shit that's said about him, do you think people want to see you? I think what Vince doesn't realize is that's why we want to see him. He's a bad guy. His documentary's about to drop on Netflix.
I can't wait to watch that.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to get Netflix back for a month to watch that.
Absolutely.
That's going to make 3 hours.
I will.
I'm going to watch all of it
first day. Yep, man, I can't wait. Like it's, I mean, because Vince, love him or hate him,
Vince don't come out of his shell much.
He's the attitude era, and you say that it's crazy because him and Austin.
Look, as much as people want to bash him, we'll sit here and we do this as well.
All day long, sure.
Yeah, we do.
He's the greatest promoter
ever. No, nobody will deny that.
Period.
Nobody will deny
ever.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
Not Dana White. None of these old fuckers from back in the in the 50s he made $8.
No.
Fuck, take your $8.
Nobody will
turn
deny
that bitch sideways and shove it up your ass. Vince is the greatest promoter.
He can make
ever.
money. Yep.
AEW fans, you know why it's there? AEW don't exist if Vince doesn't keep the wrestling business going.
Yep.
It's true. Vince is responsible for why wrestling is still a fucking round.
Some people would blame Vince for the killing of the district wrestling.
Fuck the district.
But I would agree with that because it's not 1970s.
No, like it's different.
You know, we have
AEW does their thing where they have all the indie shit come in and they can wrestle on their show. That's fine.
Nobody gives a shit about
the
WWE.
Yeah. That's always going to be the place to
everybody,
be.
Everybody that, and I'm not. I don't like to bash AEW.
You know Benison. Remember Benison?
I know Benison.
that ass clown overseas.
No,
soccer.
Sure.
Okay.
No, it's not soccer. It's football.
Yeah, no, don't disrespect.
It's football. How could you forget that?
I saw some pictures where some team won. Don't know it. Don't give a fuck.
Sure.
But what title are they holding? Not the AEW championship. It's the fucking red.
AEW's the year and a half old.
But like WWE's that brand. Like Vince made it that.
They've been around for a long time. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like he's responsible for all of it.
I agree with that.
WWE is where we disagree with him because we think a star can be as big as the brand.
Well, we think that Vince is out of touch. I think that's what most people. We all think. Well, Vince doesn't know. Vince isn't the same Vince from 1999.
Yeah.
So we think he changed as a human being. We don't know what Vince McMahon, but we do know that Vince McMahon knows how to make money.
Well, yeah, he got $2 billion. Billy, I think she's in the car with me. The guy that runs MLW was on Busted Open. He is talking. They're talking about like what do they have to do to get MLW bigger?
Sure.
And he's like, I wish I was Vince. He goes, he got $2 billion contracts in a year. He's set forever. They don't have to do media rights or anything. They have their shit.
The thing with Vince McMahon is that
like
people going back to what we said already.
I think we underestimate how big of a deal getting $2 billion contracts in a year and a half of each other. Like they pay them to let. It's like us. Like Sony calls us like, hey, we want to put RSH. We'll pay $1 billion.
Sure.
Excuse me. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
You have two companies, and then you got Fox and USA arguing over your shit. Like, we want this.
It's crazy.
Like,
and Fox has more money.
And it's funny. That's where ratings, I think we agree, don't matter. Because ratings have never been lower.
It's everything on. It's right now. Everything's autopilot. The thing with
Meltzer said, your boy, he said that AEW gets 2 million viewers a week because of DVR. Sure. Even though
he's not wrong, probably, but. The same would be for WWE. The same goes for WWE. Though.
If AEW gets 2 million viewers when they pull 500,000, SmackDown gets 10.
Sure.
Like,
I won't argue
what the
that.
fuck?
That's the thing. Like that's why ever since like DVR became into existence, like what 05, like that's when the numbers. And then streaming, obviously, streaming doesn't count either. So like all of that stuff really does skew
And you look
numbers.
like YouTube views.
My views don't matter.
But
Like,
you'll go on YouTube and you can watch Alexa kick Reginald the
Sure.
balls. It got 6 million
Doesn't
views,
get-
but
doesn't
Raw,
get
but
counted.
Raw got
Unfortunately.
2 million. You know what I mean? So
like when I watch Raw and SmackDown, my numbers. What I understand from what I read, streaming counts for like 24 hours. After that, it no
Okay.
longer counts.
so
So
SmackDown, I'm sorry, you might have missed mine a couple times because I don't watch it.
sure.
live.
So like when I watch Raw and SmackDown, I watch them on Hulu days later.
I like how
My numbers don't count
out of all the
anymore.
wrong, I
I
watch
still
Raw
watch.
live.
Yeah, that's something
I do watch NXT live.
I haven't watched
Me
watched
too.
Raw live in years.
But
But anyways, what I was going to get into here is Vince McMahon made professional wrestling mainstream. Before he took over and combined everything and did his thing, it wasn't mainstream. It was territories that you could watch on this channel, and like nobody knew. It was nobody knew everything, and it wasn't mainstream. Vince took it and made it mainstream, and he made it. He made that fucking route. He made that path for professional wrestling. And we can all shit on Vince McMahon. I love to shit on Vince McMahon. It's one of my favorite things to do. I think I know everything, but the fact is he made that path. Whether he's out of touch now in 2021 or not, the 1999 through, I would say earlier than that, 1997 through 2004, wrestling was the best that it was ever going to be and probably ever will be. And that's because Vince McMahon was not only there, he was on screen for most of it. And he has that talent. They always say, well, his dad owned the business before him and he bought it from him. And his dad didn't want him to be a wrestler. So when Vince took it over, he kind of lived his dream of being a wrestler, as the owner. That made good television. Because like it's been said in 18 different documentaries, man, people love to shit talk their boss. And so people were living vicariously through Stone Cold Steve Austin, through The Rock, through Triple H until they teamed up as the McMahon Helmsley era. Like that was the prime. Nothing will ever beat that. It just won't, because Vince was part of it. So the fact that Vince thinks that we don't want to watch him now is incredible, because I get excited when I hear no chance, even though he hasn't done anything entertaining on television in a very long
it's
time.
like at Mania when he came out.
Yeah, that was cool as shit.
Yeah,
Man, and that was him being real, but like that's people want to see Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
he is a character in his own right.
Last thing he did was, didn't he get his ass kicked by KO?
I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds
Remember
right.
KO kicked his ass on SmackDown?
Yeah. Back when he was getting pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think they got big plans for KO. I just
I
I
feel
know
like,
the Shield beat his ass
I
once.
feel like KO's place is on Monday. He's a Raw guy.
All he has to do is just hold on. I think you're right.
Like,
if he just
I
holds
hope
on,
so.
gets
Remember
through
the
the
shirt?
bullshit.
The Kevin Owens show where he had the old school Raw
Yeah.
logo on.
Yeah.
He's a Raw guy.
He's
Yeah.
the back.
Like when I see John Morrison, I'm like, he flourished on SmackDown.
SmackDown.
Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
And split him and Miz up for sure.
Yeah, as long as KO keeps holding on, I think he'll be all right. He has all the talent in the fucking world, dude. He just does.
Poor
Like
KO.
I want to watch Kevin Owens. I hear him like, fuck yeah. I know he's gonna
Hey,
lose, whatever.
that
but
match tomorrow's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good.
We'll be
Him
good.
and Zayn, last man standing.
Sure. I'll watch the entire
That's
thing.
why I appreciate NXT, because like you don't always have to have. I get like if the world title's up, obviously it closes, but like each week something's different. Like last week, it was like the USO was the main event, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then this week it's probably gonna be KO and Zayn. Like
Mhm.
different story, but
Sure.
main event. NXT this week was the North American title. Last week was the cruiserweight title.
Yep.
Week before was the world title. Like, and it makes everything
Mhm.
relevant, which is why I'm invested in SmackDown.
Sure.
And outside of Riddle, I'm not really invested in much on Raw. But
That's fair.
if you're not invested in Riddle, you just have no pulse.
Exactly.
Yeah, real. He really. Anyway, we got really off topic.
We did.
Yvonne.
I was gonna say,
Want me
which
to
one
go?
of you guys is going next? All right.
Chuck, you can go next.
that works. That's fine.
We'll switch it up. So I think we always do it all the time.
I'll pull it up here. All right. So Chuck.
We start yelling about Vince.
Probably.
Seriously. So forming the rated knockouts. I put it incorrectly. The rated RKO. Hold on, I'm gonna get that off there. So my top 5 moment is the rated RKO tag team.
I got that on mine too.
Hell yeah, because we're awesome. Even though I'm gonna beat you next week for Money in the Bank. Anyway,
We'll see.
so I typed it incorrectly. You put it back up, but it's forming the rated RKO. is
That's mine.
and that's one of those things that was a very we've talked about it before in the past. I don't need to talk about the entire
Was it
tag
like
team.
3 months?
Yeah, probably
Not
shorter.
even long at all.
But their whole point of their existence was to beat D-Generation X. DX reformed. They fought the McMahons. So it was like, what can we do next? Because we just beat Vince and Shane in a very kind of lame, comical thing. Randy and Edge had a history of fighting over the IC title. And I remember this night. I've tried to YouTube it, and it's not as easy to find as I would think it would be from how much it's embedded in my brain. But like Randy came out and Edge came out, and they had a conversation in the ring. You know, both those guys, they can both captivate you when they're both in their A game. And they're like, you know what? Let's get them. And it was just like I will never forget those two in the ring talking about teaming up because they were enemies.
Yeah, they were.
You know, they were enemies. And they're like, but you know what? Shawn Michaels and Triple H, they used to be enemies. They used to be friends, and now they're friends again. If we can just team up long enough to take them out, we can continue our careers without their bullshit. And it worked. It worked so well.
It really did.
Like if Triple H didn't hurt his quad for the 18th billionth time, you know, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
But you know, so DX, if you guys really think about it, DX only had two big feuds with their return in 06. It was Vince, it was the McMahons, and it was Rated RKO. And they had some stuff going on after that a little bit here and there with like, you know, they had a legacy feud or whatever. But like really the two big feuds that DX had post their return in 06 was the McMahons and Rated RKO. It was short-lived, as we've already discussed in past episodes. But it was so impactful that they did a feud about it fucking 15 years later. And so like those two just have that chemistry. They have the talent. And I'll never forget those two talking about teaming up.
Yeah.
I can't forget.
I can't.
And that's not even a big deal when you think about it. Because, you know, Edge's career is primarily with Christian and then solo run. So it's arguable that the Rated RKO is probably his most forgettable time in WWE when it comes to what he was doing. But it was so good.
It was good.
Because of everybody involved in what they did, man. Like, I will never forget them just forming the team. It's like, holy shit. Like, even not just talking about it. I was in high school in my old bedroom on my little fucking 12-inch TV, just watching them. I'm like, holy shit, that's Randy Orton. What's Edge doing out here? You know, and then why are they being friends? This is bullshit. Like, it was, you know, I don't know. Sometimes talking is better. You know, I've always been, when it comes to WWE or professional wrestling in general, I'm always a fan of the storylines. I've always found the stuff going on that's not wrestling is why I'm into it. I like plays, I like musicals, I like shit like that. So the wrestling is just part of the story. And that moment of those two forming Rated RKO, classic. Even though I forgot to put Rated in that.
We forgot about it too.
As already discussed, Josh brought it up earlier, WrestleMania 22, Edge versus Mick Foley, man. Like, this was my phone going off or is it somebody else's phone going off? All right. So, like, you know, we've already talked about it, but this is the first WrestleMania that I watched live, bought it with my own money. It was great. And they put each other through a flaming table. I think Edge speared Foley off the apron through the table.
Gosh.
And man, and like that's another thing with Edge is this is right before the Rated RKO, if I remember correctly, right before it. Because it had to be because Shawn and Triple H both hinted DX during the same pay-per-view. It was Triple H versus John Cena, and Triple H did the chops to Cena, and it was Shawn versus Vince McMahon, and HBK was on top of that ladder and did the chops to Vince. So I was like, holy shit! They're doing DX stuff, even though they're still enemies at this point. It was awesome. And then they shortly formed DX later, so they were just, you know, hitting it to the fans. But yeah, this match was crazy. There it is. Look at you with your computer skills.
Oh, yeah. Literally on fire.
That was just you know,
poor Mick Foley.
Watching that live.
Wow.
Because, you know, you can watch it later and be like, oh, you know, we know Edge was fine. We know Mick Foley's fine. But watching it live, it's like, holy shit, that just happened. You can't fake fire. Like,
oh my God, that just happened.
So even if they did everything right, that's still a holy shit moment.
That is.
So that was one of my favorites. Again, as I already discussed,
That's on mine too.
Edge cashing in on Cena is what put Edge on the map. It's what, as we already discussed, put him in the main event picture.
You got it.
It was awesome. That was it. Nobody saw it coming because the Money in the Bank wasn't here yet.
Nope.
Edge and Edge held on to it for a very long time, probably almost a year. I could be incorrect, but I believe it was a long time because he really made that gimmick what people try to recapture. Like I think Rollins did a good job. Kind of fun. They're gonna be fun at SummerSlam, but like Rollins did a good job at recapturing.
They're very similar characters.
It was.
They are. Yeah,
it was. They both held onto it for a very long time, and they are both heels, so they both use it to their advantage for all of their matches. So like it makes sense that they're gonna fight at SummerSlam, but Edge really brought that gimmick to life and made it what it is now.
Absolutely did.
Which is kind of watered down in my opinion, at least sometimes. But you can't do it. You can't do the same gimmick every year either. So that's not fair to say. But so it was really, really good. However, Edge versus HBK is the feud that earlier, just a few minutes ago, I said him winning the championship at that chamber was what made him a main event star. This whole feud, Edge versus HBK, is what made Edge a single competitor, I guess. I don't know what to say. Here, this feud is what made Edge not a tag team person. It made him a single star on his own right. He didn't need Christian. This is the feud where he went crazy. You guys remember, shortly after Edge and Christian broke up, he went solo and he got a new song and his gimmick was just being a fucking schizophrenic psychopath. And it was this feud that got him over with that gimmick. So I was an HBK mark. I loved HBK then. I love him now, even though he's bald. Relatable. But, it was like what really, this is the feud that put HBK, that's not correct. This is the feud that put Edge on the map as a single star competitor. Like, because he was just
so getting his shirt made. That's not correct.
That's not correct.
This is not correct.
I just want your head and like the bubble. That's not correct.
Dots.
But that question mark.
But he was just so like that crazy gimmick, like fucking he would do this with his hair all of the time.
Yeah, he did.
Like this is the feud that got him
going
over.
Nuts.
And honestly, I didn't look any of my stuff up. I looked none of my top. I just remember from memory from what I can. Because if I remember it, I must have liked it. So it's my top 5, right? That's how I kind of view it.
Right.
And so I can't remember a specific match. I remember. I think it was Taboo Tuesday. I think I could be wrong. Somebody Googles it, but I think it was a Taboo Tuesday where it was Edge versus HBK, and Edge just beat the fuck out of him and went crazy and like doing this, and I was like, man, that is not the Edge that I know, and like it's what made him. It's what shot him. This feud is what shot him to the main event title.
The Taboo Tuesday I pulled up. It's from 2004. Chris Benoit and Edge beat La Resistance for the World
So I'm incorrect. That happens.
Triple H beat Shawn Michaels. And the main event was Ric Flair versus Randy Orton in a steel cage.
So I'm wrong.
Wow.
I've been wrong before.
Sergeant Slaughter.
Cyber Sunday.
Sergeant Slaughter beat Muhammad Hassan.
Oh, Muhammad Hassan. Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin beat Chris Jericho for the fucking Intercontinental title.
Maybe it was a Cyber Sunday.
Gene Snitsky beat Kane.
Oh, yeah, after he kills his baby.
With a leader. Eugene beat Eric Bischoff.
Eugene beat Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, that was their uncle and nephew. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Cyber Sunday.
Maybe it was Cyber Sunday.
Cyber Sunday. Rated RKO beat DX.
Yep.
Oh, so I'm ballparking.
Was the referee.
I'm ballparking. But anyway.
If it makes you feel any better, Super Crazy beat Rob Conway.
Who the heck is
Rob Conway? I remember that game.
King Booker beat John Cena in the Big Show.
No, fuck King Booker. But anyway, that feud is Edge and HBK is what really put Edge on the map to shoot him towards the title. And it was fantastic. And my number one is that moment right there. For you audio listeners, it is the moment at WrestleMania when Edge jumped from one ladder to spear Jeff Hardy, who was on another ladder, grabbing the tag team titles for his team. Wow. It was the Edge and Christian versus the Hardys versus the Dudley Boys. TLC, tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. And this timing, you just can't beat.
Oh my.
So like it was nuts. Like just to see
Poor
that.
Party.
I know. And
Poor
but
guy.
poor both of them because
Yeah,
Edge landed
true.
on his shoulder.
Yeah,
Like I
that's what
mean,
he did.
that wasn't a pretty landing for anybody.
No.
So like I
Uh-uh.
mean, and we have never seen that before. And honestly, we haven't seen it since. It was a crazy spot that just lives in history. And it doesn't matter what happens going forward, you can't beat that. It beats the flaming table because we've seen people on fire before. It beats the thumbtacks. It beats falling off a cell even because we've seen it before. But they didn't land through a table. Nope.
Yeah.
They just fucking landed.
They landed.
It might have been a table. I don't remember. But anyway, they did it. So like it was rough, man. It was something that they had to get just right. And they got it just right. And it's just a spot that should always be in the fucking Raw and SmackDown intro video going forward. And it has been many times. So that's my top 5 Edge moments, even though some of the faster might have not have been right.
I'm the same way.
Sometimes I misremember
That's why I
things.
put notes in my phone so I can remember this stuff.
I just remember it on my head, then I have 10 beers. I'm like, oh, I'll just remember.
That's
And
why I
then,
put it in my notes so I don't forget. And I still look at it and say it wrong.
I understand. I do that too. All right, Yvonne, my soon-to-be just another victim.
Just another
at
bit.
Money in the Bank.
We'll see.
All right.
I agree.
Your number 5.
Edge's retirement. Yeah, it's sad. Like we talked about his retirement. I remember this really well. I actually cried, like we talked about. As a girl, yeah.
But still, though.
But still, yeah. It's sad to hear Edge happen to retire from something he really loves to do. I mean, risking everything, his health, all that kinds of stuff, body, everything, and he had to retire April 11th, 2011, Monday Night Raw. Never forget that, and the fans are cheering, thank you, Edge, and he's just getting all into his life story, and
Now he's back.
he's back, yep. That was very sad.
And he's better than ever.
Rated
Not
RKO,
really,
just like Chuck. Rated RKO was born October 9th, 2006.
Look at that.
We never would see these two
I
like
miss those
team.
belts.
I do
Those
too.
belts are
So
badass.
just like Chuck said,
Nope.
they teamed up. They wanted to take down DX. This was at Cyber Sunday,
Oh, look at that picture.
November 5th, 2006. They won the tag team titles November 13th, 2006 against Ric Flair and Roddy Piper.
Fucking weird.
And what's weird is
They
Edge
fucking
attack-
won the titles off Ric Flair and Roddy Piper.
Edge,
That's weird.
Edge attacked Roddy Piper before the match started, and Ric Flair had to go in alone. And
Gotta put a bitch down.
And Orton RKO'd and won.
So many weird things come to mind when I hear Ric Flair and Roddy Piper lost to Edge and Randy Orton, and they were the tag.
Tag team
I need
Yeah.
to go back and figure out how they became the tag team.
And back then, I watched Raw and SmackDown
I know.
live every week. So I'm like, how do
Yeah.
I forget those two being tagged? And you have to remember, too,
Yeah.
this was after Evolution. So, like, Randy
Yeah.
Orton had a pass with Ric Flair.
He did.
And he's beating his ass back
Yeah.
then.
Orton got the pin. They won the belts. Like we said, the team didn't last long. After they lost the tag titles is when they had tension. October 9th, 2006 they ended at May 2007 is when their little team was done.
It's like half a year, right?
Yeah, longer than I thought.
I really love this group. I wish it would have lasted.
I agree, man. Like, there's just those two have chemistry. Like we already said,
Yeah.
they were very short term, but they brought it back up. How many
They
years
did.
later?
Well,
15 years later.
Segues to her third
And this is
moment.
when I started being a Randy Orton fan too. So.
WrestleMania last year.
Yeah, him and Edge
Yeah,
last time.
15
WrestleMania-
years later.
Yeah,
And
WrestleMania
they
36.
Brought
Yeah.
up that history,
Mhm.
that very short-lived history.
Yep.
They brought up 15 years later. That means that they had a very big impact in a very short amount of time.
Mhm.
And it's hard to do.
Yeah.
Hard to do, especially when Edge's career is primarily with Christian.
Yep.
And the fact that he had that much of an impact with somebody else,
That's awesome.
it's
Yeah.
it's something that you don't see. And
I'm so excited for Seth and Edge.
That will be.
I mean, they'll tear it down.
They
They'll, or they'll burn it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a great match. Both beat the
It was.
crap
They got
out of
that
each
40
other.
minutes.
Yeah. That was
They
kind of
beat-
long.
It was a little long.
but
But-
no fans, what are you going to do?
Well,
Yeah, that's true. It was
well,
way too long.
it's like Edge said. He goes, well, people are bitching, like, when you coming back? Then I come
Yeah.
back and they're like, oh, your match is too long. He's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck do you want?
Like, you can't.
It was a very good.
It was a
I
very
feel like
good
WrestleMania
match.
36 will always be overlooked because it was the no fans.
It
one.
was. It will be.
But
You're right.
when we're talking about it 10 years from now, that's going to be like, that was the most underrated WrestleMania maybe ever.
You know, it's going to be one of those
It
things.
was such a good Mania.
It
Like
was good.
Ripley and fucking God, that other girl, they tore it down to open
Charlotte.
show. And then Fiend and Cena happened.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be one of those manias where people only go back to watch because there were no
Yeah.
fans.
It's like, hey, son, check this out.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so different from everything else. There's only 2 years of that, and the last one wasn't that memorable. So it's like the first one is the one that really is going to be, because that was a memorable
Mhm.
venue.
It was. It always will be. This one was sort of memorable, but like
Nothing
we had
stands
fans
out.
back.
Yeah, like
Bad
nothing
Bunny.
really. We had some fans
Yuck.
back. Nothing stands
Bad
out.
Bunny stood
Yuck.
out.
No, he didn't.
Yuck.
I wish.
These two beat the crap out of each other and then still got up and continued fighting. It was just a great match.
Well, the only way to segue to something better than Randy Orton
What?
is to bring up John Cena.
Like
Oh,
we
shit.
all talked about cashing in. Edge was actually the first ever Money in the Bank ladder. He won it at WrestleMania 21.
I got to start downloading these pictures.
Yeah,
Makes me
you're
so-
doing good
So
there.
fancy.
He is.
That's
yeah.
good shit.
Look
Yeah,
at Edge.
obviously a big moment.
Cheating motherfucker.
Can't forget.
I can't remember the Stone Cold's podcast where he's like, "Hey, look at the screen."
Can't forget when I was watching it when Vince came out. He's like, the show's not done yet. He's like,
Yeah.
we're not closing the show
I
this way. He's
love
like,
when
I
the
got
show
one
would
more
end.
thing.
And then
It's like
something would
5
happen.
minutes left, and it's
Yeah.
like, what's about to happen?
And Cena's lying in the
Right.
ring covered
You know
in
what I mean?
blood.
Like,
Yeah.
you know something's
It's like
happening.
we have too much time left.
Yeah.
It's only 10:57. What's
Yeah.
going on?
Or it's like it's 10:52, and it's like the match is over. It's like, wait,
Oh,
it's not over.
I know.
Vince is like, we're not ending it this way. He has one more thing, and Edge's music hits, and John Cena's trying to pick himself up, bloody mess. Cashed in, speared him, beat him.
One, and that was such a big moment
Mhm.
because it's never happened before.
Yep.
And it's Edge, who's never been in the main
That
event before.
set the bar for cash-ins.
It does.
It did. Mhm.
And I can honestly
It
say
wasn't top till Seth did Mania.
that was the second biggest
Mhm.
one. I would say. I don't think it topped it, but I would say it was just as big as a surprise.
I don't know. I'm flipped. Seth's gonna be my most memorable one.
Sure.
Maybe I'm a prisoner of the moment,
Sure,
but
I watched both live.
I guess I take the creativity in it too. Like Brock didn't get they took the belt off Brock without Brock having to do anything. Like,
Sure,
Mhm.
it made
fucking Roman.
sense.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we're like, yeah, fuck Roman, because that's how people were back then.
Mhm.
I wanted Roman to win. I was a Roman fan.
yeah.
That
Because
was
you
right.
hate Brock.
I like faces.
But like
That's what he hated
the
about.
wrestling universe is like, damn it, Brock and Roman. Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
Roman, like he made event like 7 Manias,
Mhm.
and he's just now doing the best work of his career
Sure.
right now,
Yep.
which
Sure.
is bizarre. But anyway,
I would agree
and he's
that
gonna kick Edge's ass.
Seth as cash-in is definitely it's the only one that could
And
match up to it.
Mhm.
It just seems so perfect. that these
It's
two
hard
are
to
gonna-
capture
these
that
two are gonna
magic.
feud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it
hard.
makes,
into
it
summer.
makes
Like,
sense.
It
Yeah.
does.
It's like that Spider-Man meme. It's
Yeah.
just them two.
You.
Like I
Yeah.
feel like Seth's like
They're very similar.
I just
They are.
They
think,
are.
I think
They really are.
I think Seth.
They have same builds. The
I
same.
think Seth's upside's a little bit higher,
Yeah.
and they recognize that earlier.
Seth
Edge
has
kinda
different
had a-
talents. Well, there's two things you could argue. One, it was a different time. Edge didn't
Yeah.
need to do flips and stuff. He was doing hardcore stuff.
Mhm.
But I would say Rollins definitely he's better at doing flips and shit. But both have their own.
They're very.
They
alike.
both have their own. I mean, they
Mhm.
have the same build.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
both have their own skill sets that are
They both have
good.
wives in wrestling.
They both-
Like
They
they have.
do,
They have
yeah.
a lot of
Well,
shit. in
Rollins'
common.
wife's hotter. No offense to Beth
And he's a better
Phoenix.
wrestler.
Beth,
She's
Phoenix,
smoking.
Beth,
I'm a Seth
Beth
guy.
Phoenix is great.
Anyway,
we'll
back-
just
No,
say
I love Beth Phoenix, but Sasha,
she
not
annoys.
Sasha.
She,
That's not right.
She annoys me.
But,
I say she's gross because she drives me nuts on NXT with
Oh,
her
boy.
incorrect on commentary.
She's very good on commentary. But anyway,
Fair
I
enough.
can't.
But Becky
stand her.
Lynch is just smoking. You know.
what's your number one?
Edge returning Royal Rumble last year. His music hits.
Again.
Him
2020.
and Orton kind of looked at like, are we gonna work together? Are we gonna have that stare down? Him and Styles had a kind of a moment
Him
for
and
them.
Christian did too.
Chris, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With AW.
And Edge won this one, so it was good.
Entered at number one.
Music went nuts. Edge was going nuts. Everybody was going nuts. I was very like
Oh yeah, I mean you can't not go
electric
nuts.
fighting. It was especially when him and Orton was face to face. They started working together for a little bit, and they're like, Then like he's just all over the place.
It's not bad. Mine's better, but it's not bad.
You always say about his bad.
So yeah,
I
top
did the
five.
research.
top 5-ish moments. I think he's got a good little career left in his,
He
his
does.
career. That's exciting to see.
He got 2 more matches this year on his deal, reportedly. So Seth will be one, and I'm guessing Survivor Series probably the other. Then
Sure. WrestleMania.
Then Rumble, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. The big ones going
You know who
forward.
the Vegas odds right now is to win the Royal Rumble?
Who's that?
Brock.
course,
Whatever.
You know who's number 2?
At this point, who cares? Like, whatever.
So
Let's have Brock win until he dies, I
it's
guess.
Brock, Big E, and Cesaro are the top 3.
That's cool. I'm tired of the part-time stuff. Like, I want to not have to.
We haven't
Talk
had
about-
any.
No, but
Right
like
now, the only part-time we have
until
is
the
Edge.
until the big events. But we're
Mhm.
talking about fucking Cena and Lesnar at SummerSlam. We're talking about The Rock at
And
WrestleMania. It's just these part-timers. I'm not even trying to like say
They're needed for these. Like I do
they're
them
not
for these
because you
events.
can't do cool stuff with your full-timers at these big events. You can't get
Mhm.
your full-timers over at big events because they're watered down by the part-timers. I'm not saying it is a bad thing because like you can't. You're not going to get like a good full-time match at WrestleMania that matters because it's being watered down because of The Rock showing up or John Cena showing up or Brock Lesnar showing up. I mean,
That's John Cena.
I love The Rock, but like
Fuck The Rock. John
The
Cena.
Rock's great. He's way better than John Cena in the Fast and the Furious.
Oh boy.
He's fucking Hobbs, but it's just like
There we go. Fast and Furious.
he's a cop. He's a spinoff. It's cool. It's just one of those things because Brock Lesnar is going to be at SummerSlam. Shit like Big E turning on Kofi is not going to happen at Money in the Bank. Like that. Like I think we're not allowing certain things to happen because of these part timers showing up to get those ratings.
Really, Josh?
And they bring in ratings. I mean, you can say it. Doesn't
The
mean
Rock
it's true.
wasn't more.
Sorry, I didn't see that up there.
Just because you say it doesn't mean it's a true thing. But it's just.
You're just hatred for The Rock.
And I don't even hate the part-timers being there, but I just feel like sometimes when they make it this obvious, it hurts what the product could be. It kind of takes away what they could do. Because like Kofi being in the main event and then Big E winning the briefcase, like that could be an awesome thing, but it won't happen because we have to have Lesnar come back.
Listen, I would die if Kofi won the belt and Brock beat him
Well,
in
it's
like
not
8
gonna
seconds
happen.
again.
And that would be funny.
Like,
It's not gonna happen.
No, I would laugh my ass off, but not in a good way.
I would laugh my ass off.
Kofi's not winning.
It's not good.
I would go buy a Brock shirt.
It's not doing you long-term favors when you're WWE. Now, granted, I would laugh my ass off at that point because I'm just kind of done at this point. Like I honestly don't whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. Like at this point, it's just like, yeah, that's like let's say Lesnar does come back and play in the bank. I'd laugh my ass off too. Because why care what happens if they're doing that shit?
He's Brock Lesnar.
So
Beast in the bank.
Beast in the bank. Oh my god.
But yeah, that's all I gotta say, I guess. Just like whatever.
I'm ready for John Cena.
I'm not.
John
You
Cena,
mean
Roman.
Dominic Toretto's brother.
It's
Roman
funny, I
Reigns
forget his
beating
name
John
in
Cena.
the
I'm ready
movie.
for that.
Something Toretto?
Yeah.
Something.
It's like I worked on cars. Me and my brother haven't kept in touch for some reasons. You'll figure out I'm a spoiler.
Even though he's in all this shit in the last 8 movies.
Exactly. I want to see that.
That's cool. Don't spoil
Listen,
it.
I
Don't
told
spoil
you
it.
I had
Don't
to
spoil it.
overlook the fact
Don't spoil
that
it.
they in 9 movies they're just like even his girl's like,
Yeah.
what brother?
By
It's
the
like,
way-
bitch, you didn't tell your wife you had a brother?
They
Like,
met when they were 16, according to the first movie.
Oh,
So that makes
boy.
no sense.
Yeah,
Letty.
fuck.
Letty
That
met
makes-
him when she was
It
16.
makes less sense now that I've seen it because anyway.
Letty was 16 when she
That's
met
why I
Dom.
said I went into this with WWE booking. Like you have to overlook.
That's all the Fast and Furious. Like I said, dude, the first 4 are all right. 1 is cool. 1's really good. I mean, it's cheesy, but it's good. 2, it's whatever. 3 is pretty shitty. 4, I love 4. And then 5 was when The Rock's introduced, and 5
All
so
right.
on
I'm
is
watching that one.
no, it's 5 so on.
Put
It's
The Rock.
5, 6, 7, and 8, and probably 9 is when it gets so ridiculous. You don't give a shit about the story. You're just like, oh, that's fucking awesome. Like this
Rock.
just going on. Fuck yeah.
No.
You see ridiculous fights, ridiculous things, and that's what they've kind of
when you
become.
insert The Rock into things, yeah, I don't
Oh,
know fuck about the
please.
story.
Was
Sure.
it, was it
I
Roman
can argue
Reigns?
that.
Roman Reigns is the one, wasn't he?
He was
Hobbs and Shaw.
in the spinoff Hobbs and Shaw,
Okay.
and that takes place after 8. So it was Fast 8, The spinoff is Hobbs and Shaw at then 9, and then Hobbs and Shaw is getting another spinoff that's going to take place after that. And then I heard that Shaw, which is what's his name? I'm drunk, so I can't tell you.
Diesel?
No, the other one, the action star, Jason Statham. He wants to come back for 10, but he's in 7 and 8, and then Hobbs and Shaw. And he wants to come back for 10. Anyway, this is a whole different topic. So, hope you all enjoy this episode of regularly scheduled hostilities. It is now 8 o'clock, so we have went way over our allotted time. But, you know, we do what we want because we're awesome. So, continue to check out RSH Wrestling. Continue to follow us on all social medias. Continue to, because I know you do, watch all of the shows on the Buzz. There's great stuff. We got hockey. We got soccer. We got football. And we have other things. Wrestling. We got Working Fans every Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check out that shit. They talk about other wrestling stuff that's not us. So it's just as fantastic. Great guys. And that's all I got. So follow the Buzz on all social medias. And at the end of the day, continue to fear regularly scheduled hostilities.